You're Circuit Judge Tobin, the hanging judge. You've been mighty fond of making tough speeches to the poor devils who have to swing because you say so. But now the rope's going around your own neck, Judge Tobin. You've been tried and convicted of horse stealing. Well, we're going to give you time to say your prayers, and may the Lord have mercy on your soul. Don't waste time looking for Wyatt Earp. He wouldn't lift a finger to save you. Put the rope on.
Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien.
Most of the judges with whom Marshal Earp had to deal were honest, strong, and fair-minded men. But when Judge Tobin was assigned to ride a circuit which included Dodge City, Wyatt came up against a strange character. Tobin had set out to make a reputation for himself as a hanging judge. Men called him Rope Tobin and compared him with the notorious Judge Parker, who hanged 88 men in Oklahoma Territory. But in the case of Judge Tobin...
The defendant will face the court. Mr. Bingham, you've been tried and found guilty of stealing a horse. You stole this animal from a traveler on the open prairie. You were well aware that a man's horse is his life. Cattle and buffalo will stampede at sight of a man on foot. Men have been trampled to death in such stampedes. Furthermore, a man without a horse has no means of escape from savage renegade Indians. By your act, you condemned your victim to death. And only by the merest chance...
I didn't steal that horse. I bought him.
Silence. Marshal Earp, it's the judgment of this court that Mr. Bingham be hanged by the neck until dead. You will notify Sheriff Bassett that the execution will take place tomorrow any time between sunrise and sunset, and may the Lord have mercy on his soul. Remove the prisoner. Something on your mind, Mr. Earp?
Yes, sir, there is.
Well, out with it.
Well, since you asked me, Your Honor, I think that Mr. Bingham might be telling the truth.
What makes you think so?
Well, I know he was riding the horse when we arrested him, and he didn't have a bill of sale, and we couldn't find the man that he said sold the horse to him, but... Well, it seems to me
He had a fair trial, Mr. Earp. Had he been caught on the trail riding a stolen horse, he'd have been hanged from the nearest tree. Do you believe in lynch law, Mr. Earp?
No, sir, I don't. I hate it.
Well, so do I. And the only way to put down lynch law on this frontier is for legally constituted courts to do their duty. We must teach men to respect legal justice. Do you have any further comments, Marshal?
Yes, Judge Tobin, with your permission, I have. But it involves criticism of this court, so maybe I better keep my mouth shut.
Speak up. Speak up.
Well, sir, with all respect, I don't believe in hanging a man on circumstantial evidence as in this case. You say you want the law respected. Well, that's what I want, too. But do you believe hanging a man on circumstantial evidence is the way to go about it?
I disagree with your thinking.
Well, you're the judge.
Careful now.
Well, anyway, it's not my jurisdiction. Crime was committed in Ford County, so it's up to Sheriff Bassett.
You do know a little about the law.
Just enough to serve you fair notice, Judge. I don't believe in hanging for any other reason than first-degree murder. And only then on most conclusive evidence.
Fair notice? Of what?
Dodge City isn't Ford County, and I'm not Sheriff Bassett. Good day, Your Honor.
Did you tell him what for?
As much as I dared. No sense in getting fined for contempt of court.
What's wrong with that man, Wyatt?
He's never seen a hanging, that's what's wrong with him. Any kind of circumstantial evidence satisfies him. No, he's a real hanging judge for sure.
Well, Charlie Bassett says Bingham's wanted in Nebraska for 2 murders. I guess it all evens up.
No, it doesn't. Judge should send him back to Nebraska for trial.
Oh, now, Wyatt.
Look, how would you like a friend of yours hanged on doubtful evidence?
Well, now, I can't think of any of my friends who were apt to get hanged.
There's nothing funny about this, you know. You send that poor fellow on over to Sheriff Bassett's lockup, then wash your hands.
Well, I just washed them.
Wonder what kind of soap Judge Tobin uses on his.
Huh?
Never mind, go on.
Three a winner. 6 a loser. 8 a winner.
I want to take a look at that deal box.
Hand that back.
I got a hunch this is a Mississippi bottom deal.
I said hand that back.
Why, you little...
Sure. Finley, put it away.
He grabbed my deal box.
Ease off. Take a walk. Take over, Earl. Eve, you and I'd better have a little talk. In there.
It'll be a pleasure.
Well, what's your complaint?
The card game's crooked. It's been crooked ever since Chalk Beeson left for KC. And I'm going to prove it to Chalk when he gets back with this.
Well, let me see. Perhaps Finley has.
Not him, you. Chalk left you here to run things. And Finley will deal him straight or crooked, just as you say.
How much did you lose?
1,000?
You never had that much.
1,000. It'll cost you a lot more if I tell Beeson. He'll make you pony up 5 times that. And put a yellow tag on you besides.
All right, but I can't get it for you right now.
When?
Tonight. The cashier's changed shift at 8 o'clock. Now, you slip in the back way. I'll give you the money. You give me the box.
Of course, Pete. When I get the money, you'll get this.
Where's your relief man, Finley?
He's late.
I'll sit in for you.
Thanks, Pete. Anything wrong?
Eve Morgan's still mad. Take the alley home. All right, boys. Let's change the deal box. Nothing like new cards in a fresh box. Break open the deck.
I'll take a stack, Pete.
Sure.
I'll keep cash for you.
Good. It's Eve Morgan. I think he's dead.
Morgan. Is he shot? Dead.
All right, you men stay out here. Break it up. Yeah. You men go on back in the saloon. Go on.
Morgan was a good guy, too.
That hole in Morgan came from a 41 Derringer. You know anybody that owns one?
5-spot Finley. He used to have one.
Where's Finley?
He went off shift about 8 o'clock. He's probably at home.
Go pick him up.
Finley wouldn't shoot anybody, White. I knew him in Abilene. In fact, he tipped me off to a gunslinger that was
Look,
out
will you just go pick him up?
Whatever you say.
You quit wasting my time. I took this off of Morgan. You ever see it before?
No, sir.
You're lying. It's a Mississippi bottom dealer. Now, you want to explain how come Morgan had it?
Marshal, I swear to you, I don't know anything about it.
Look, 3 eyewitnesses out there told me they saw Morgan take it off Finley at the faro table. They also saw Finley pull a Derringer on Morgan.
Marshal, Finley's my friend. Now, surely you don't expect me to incriminate him.
Finley heard about the shooting. I met him in the alley.
You don't think I had anything to do with it?
You own a Derringer, Mr. Finley?
Yes, sir.
Where is it?
It's in the drawer in the faro table. And it's here to tell you what...
Never mind. Let's go see it. Come on.
It's gone, Mr. Earp. Somebody stole it. Pete, you know the gun was in the drawer when you took the slot from me. Don't you remember? You said Morgan was sore at me for me to take the alley home.
Finley, Mr. Earp knows about the box.
He does?
I cheated Morgan, but I didn't kill him. You know me, Bat. I wouldn't kill anybody.
I told as much to Marshal Earp.
You threatened Morgan with a gun, didn't you?
Yes, sir, but only to keep him from beating me up. Anders took the derringer and put it in the drawer. Then Jake grabbed me and hustled me out. Ain't that right?
Finley, you're talking too much. You need a lawyer.
Lawyer?
Mr. Finley, I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder.
Wyatt. So Rope Tobin can do the
Now
same
you're
thing?
the one that's talking too much, Mr. Masterson. Take him to jail.
Come on.
Oh, evening, Mr. Earp.
Howdy, Mr. Craig.
Terrible thing Finley done. You reckon Judge Tobin will hang him along with Bingham?
Oh, easy, Mr. Craig.
Are you looking for clues?
No, haven't found the murder weapon yet. It's a 41 Derringer.
Finley wouldn't hide it around here this close. He knows I'm always filling and emptying this barrel.
No, it's not in there. You keep your eye peeled out for a Derringer, huh?
Yes, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Mr. Earp.
Well, Judge Tobin.
Benton here has been pestering me to grant bail to some gambler named Finley. What do you know about the case?
Well, sir, Eve Morgan, a cowhand, was shot to death in an alley behind the Long Branch Saloon. He and Finley had an argument about a crooked deal box this afternoon. I arrested Finley on suspicion of murder.
Suspicion?
My client denies the charge, Your Honor. There's nothing but
That
circumstantial...
will be all, sir. It's a clear case of first-degree murder, isn't it?
No, Your Honor, it isn't.
Can't you present a clear-cut case about anything?
Finley claims somebody stole his gun. There were a lot of people in position to do that, sir. Also, I haven't checked into the crooked gambling angle, and
Nonsense. First-degree murder, no bail. I'll hear this case at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Have the defendant in court at that time.
10 o'clock?
And I won't consider any motion for a delay or continuance, Mr. Benton. Crooked gambler. Murders a man in cold blood. We'll see. We'll see.
Finley wants to talk to you, Mr. Benton.
Well, I'll do the best I can.
Oh, wait a minute. No, Judge Tobin can't force you to trial. Not without reasonable time to prepare a defense, anyway.
They call him Rope Tobin, Mr. Earp. Stalling would only make his temper worse.
You sentence Finley to hang. He's already made up his mind.
Well, and if it comes to that, we can ask for a stay of execution pending appeal. But you'd better find out who did kill Morgan, and right quick.
Now, how do you feel?
I'd like to put a rope around Tobin's neck.
Hey, that may not be a bad idea.
Huh?
Judge Tobin has a lot of knowledge about law. But he's never had his nose far enough away from a law book to know anything about people. Has Finley got any good friends besides you?
A dozen good ones, at least.
6 ought to be enough. You and I can't do anything, but his friends might be able to teach Judge Tobin about circumstantial evidence. Save Finley.
You mean frame the judge?
Why, Mr. Masterson, such talk from an officer of the law.
And the boys who like Finley aren't officers of the law.
Well, let's see what happens in court.
Yeah.
Have you reached a verdict?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Guilty of what?
Oh, well, murder in the first degree.
Order!
That's how you instructed us to vote, ain't it?
Order! Considering the evidence, there was no other verdict possible. You gentlemen have done your duty and the court commends you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The defendant will rise. Mr. Finley, you are a card sharp and a crook. When the deceased caught you cheating, he took your deal box as evidence. Testimony indicates that Mr. Morgan intended to complain to the owner of the Long Branch Saloon. To prevent this, you waylaid him in an alley, and with malice aforethought, you shot him in the back.
No, sir. It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Silence! The court would like to show mercy, but your crime does not deserve mercy. I sentence you to be hanged by the neck until dead.
Your Honor,
Yes, Mr. Bell.
I must ask for stay of execution pending appeal.
That is your privilege as counsel for the condemned. Any comment, Mr. Earp?
No, sir.
Don't you worry, Finley boy. We're with you.
You will take your seat until court's adjourned. Marshal Earp?
Yes, sir.
I have business in Abilene. Other cases on the docket will be postponed till my return. Remove the condemned. Court is adjourned.
Don't worry, Finley. Good job, boy.
Larry, bring him in. Get him out of there, boys. Hustle it up. Oh, Bat. They look pretty much alike, don't they?
Yeah, I couldn't tell them apart. Nice work, Jim.
Even to the brands and scars. See, bar N on the judge's horse, bar H in my horse. Of course, I had to block out the white stocking on my horse.
Slick. Where's old man Ruger?
Well, we left him sleeping in hay bed.
We gotta move on. I'll hide the judge's horse. And don't forget, you've got to stop Tobin before he crosses the city limits.
Oh, we'll stop him. Bat. Why don't we really hang the old busser?
No, just put a rope around his neck. Why, now I'll be right behind you. Don't you even rough him up. Remember, he's a circuit judge.
We're going to be awful careful. How you coming, boys? All right. Get over here. Not so fast, stranger. No. Not so fast, stranger. That's my horse you're making off with.
Are you men drunk, or is this some kind of a practical joke?
It ain't funny. We hang horse thieves. Light down.
Nonsense! These are my horses.
That one ain't. Light down. Come on.
You know who I am.
No, and I don't care. You're stealing my horse.
Nonsense. Both these horses are Bar N brand. I bought them from Colonel French at the Bar N Ranch. You've heard of him. Bar H? No. That brand's been tampered with. This is a frame-up.
You steal my horse and accuse me of framing you.
Rope's ready, Jim.
Let's get it over with.
Let go of me. Let go of me, I say. Let go of me. I'm Circuit Judge Tobin.
No. Not Rope Tobin. The hanging judge? Well, boys, ain't that something? Rope Tobin turns horse thief. That tree over yonder looks right handy.
You won't get away with this.
Oh, hanging a man ain't too difficult.
Tie his hands?
No, it's more fun when they got their hands free and try to fight the rope. Come on, we're wasting time. Hey!
What goes on here?
Caught a horse thief, Marshal.
Well, that's Judge Tobin. He wouldn't steal a horse.
He did, though. That left-hand bay, my horse. Got my Bar H brand.
This is a frame-up. Maybe the livery stable man gave me the wrong horse by mistake.
Go check the brand. We don't hang horse thieves without some show of a trial.
What about Finley and Bingham?
They had a trial.
Left one's Bar H, the other's Bar N.
Well, I'm sorry, Judge, but I can't help myself. You're under arrest. Charge of horse stealing. Take that rope off him. Climb in your buggy and we'll head back to town. Go on.
Ghastly mistake. Why, those hoodlums might have tried to hang me. And on the flimsiest of circumstantial evidence. What if this got into the newspapers, an accusation like this? Rumor, gossip, the dignity of my office. Marshal Earp, I demand an immediate release.
Well, I'm sorry, sir, but any charge by a citizen must be investigated.
Oh, come now, we've had our differences, but surely you don't believe that I stole that horse?
No, sir, I don't.
Well, then why are you holding me on a charge that you admit's absurd?
Blackmail?
What?
I have here an official police report with a felony complaint signed by Jim Lawrence, the owner of the stolen horse.
Just what are you after?
Well, Judge, to begin with, I'm looking for a human being. In you.
What is this?
Then there's the blackmail. But let's call it white blackmail, shall we? I want a stay of execution for Mr. Bingham. He should be sent back to Nebraska and tried there for murder.
Is he wanted there?
That's right, on 2 counts. And Sheriff Bassett didn't mention anything about it because he felt Bingham might just as well be hanged here as in Nebraska. Well, I don't agree with Charlie's idea of the law. I also don't agree with hanging men on flimsy circumstantial evidence. It'll ruin respect for law out here. And you and I, sir, in our different ways, are the law here, aren't we?
Those Nebraska charges should have had priority. All right, I'll grant the stay, but not as a price for anything. Now, go ahead and do your duty as you see it.
One other thing, sir. I ask you to release Finley on bail.
A condemned murderer?
Look, sir, I need your help. I think I know the man who really murdered Morgan. Now, if you turn Finley loose, the man I'm after will get scared, and a scared man always makes a wrong move.
It's still blackmail.
No, sir, it isn't. I changed my mind. There won't be any police report, and I'll ask Jim Lawrence to withdraw his complaint.
What would make a stubborn, opinionated man like yourself change his mind?
My father's a judge back in Illinois. The kind of judge all of you should be. He didn't get his reputation by hanging men on circumstantial evidence. I guess I tried to mold Judge Tobin in his image. I'm sorry for that.
Excuse me, Judge. Wyatt, they're talking mighty mean at the Long Branch. They think Finley had a raw deal.
I expected that. All right, round up the rest of the deputies. Tell them to load with buckshot.
No, no! I'll admit Finley to bail. Turn him loose.
Thank you, sir.
But if you've got another suspect, you better get him quick. I can always change my mind.
Finley!
It's good to see you.
Finley, you're free.
I'm only out on bail, but I sure thank you guys. Still winning, huh?
Yeah, little old Finley. Boy, howdy.
Good to see you. Sure want to thank you, Pete, for getting me the lawyer and everything.
What's a friend for? Boys, the next round's on the house. How come old Rope Tobin let you out on bail?
Well, Mr. Earp says it's because they can't find my gun.
How does that figure?
It's a kind of a legal technicality. Mr. Earp suggested it to the judge, and the judge agreed. Unless they find my gun, they can't hang me. Sure hope they never find me.
Sure.
You ain't buying the drinks, Pete. I am. Come on. Drinks are on me. All this
Come on, brother.
Get your fellas down.
Howdy, Marshal. Bat.
Howdy, Mr. Anders. We're still looking for that Derringer.
Yeah, Finley was telling me about that. Marshal, why's old Judge Tobin want to hang little old Finley? Why, Morgan never was no good.
Neither are you.
Big gun, big talk.
You scared Finley into cheating.
Ease off. You move aside. I'd like to take a look in there.
Why, there's nothing in there except a lot of trash.
What are you so nervous about?
Nothing, Marshal. Nothing at all. Well, what do you know? Finley must have stashed that in there. I mean, whoever shot Morgan must have put it in there.
No, you stole it and shot Morgan.
Are you crazy?
Last night, right after the shooting, I came out here and that barrel was empty.
So what does that prove?
You knew I looked in there. You figured the safest place to hide this is where I'd already looked. An old man, Craig, threw some trash in there, and you came out and threw the Derringer on top of it. You're under arrest, Mr. Aaron.
Yeah? Stand steady.
My friend. Trying to get me home.
Have I stolen any more horses?
No, sir. I found your horse hidden in the livery stable.
You solve a murder case with a dying man's confession, you even find my horse. That's sheer genius, Marshal Earp.
Your Honor, what is the penalty for framing a circuit judge on a horse theft charge?
Well, I wouldn't hang the man who did it, but you can warn him any more shenanigans, he'll draw a mighty stiff prison sentence.
Oh. Well, I'll tell him that when I see him.
Get here.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told.
Why, they're getting too close.
No shooting yet. Can you see Dull Knife?
Yes, by Big Rock.
We're not going to surrender.
I want to make peace talk to Dull Knife.
Peace talk with a bunch of Cheyenne on the warpath?
Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien.
Are you Marshal Earp?
That's right.
Well, you better get your people ready for a fight. Dull Knife is headed this way with lots of Cheyenne and war paint.
Where'd you see him?
About 30 miles down the trace from the Indian nations. I changed horses and rode them, but they'll be here in 2 hours. Let's get yourself time to get organized.
Now, take it easy.
But, Mr.
Look, just take it easy. Yelling Indian and causing the panic isn't going to help us. Mr. Masterson, you take our friend here over to the Long Branch and buy him some cold beer. You go along with Mr. Masterson, and I thank you for your warning.
Why? Shouldn't we get set for him?
It'll be a couple hours before sundown. Cheyenne are too smart to raid a town when it's dark. Anyway, I have a hunch my Indian scouts should be in to tell me about it. You any idea why Dull Knife is sore at this town?
Well, a Crow Indian friend of mine said the Cheyenne were headed here. Well, that's all I know, Mr.
Buy him all the beer he can drink. Keep asking him not to talk.
Why? Payday isn't till Saturday.
All right. Here. It's enough for supper, too.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Yes, sir.
I didn't signal for the artillery. Take it back in the rack, Harry.
Mr. Brother, Mr. Cousins.
Me.
Oh.
Now, my friends, what is all this about Dull Knife?
Who?
2 white men kill men who fights. Then they treat Cheyenne, his wife, as Apaches do. She tell us, then she kill herself for shame.
That is very ugly. Did the wife name the men before she died?
No, Mr. Earp. Only that men who fights told her they belong in Dutch City.
Sikapi took him on Souk, Marshal Earp, Souk.
Cheyenne, good wife. She fight and scratch white men on face.
Oh.
After it happened, she take knife so. When Dull Knife hear this, very angry.
Well, I don't blame him. But I think Dull Knife and his men were very foolish to have jumped the reservation. They'd even be more foolish to make a raid on Dodge. It's too big a town, too many guns.
Dull Knife never count guns, Mr. Earp.
Men with scratches on their face shouldn't be too hard to find. You know anything else about him?
Ho. Napikon. Scout. Newt long knife. Edwi.
Men who fights was scout for soldiers, like us. Mr. Brother thinks white men scout when in army with Dull Knife.
Well, that'll help us. Are you friendly with Dull Knife?
Yes, but in warpath he's friend to no man.
But you will go to him and make talk, huh?
What talk?
I want you to explain to Dull Knife that we have law here. I will catch the 2 white men that murdered his people, and the law will hang them.
Hang white men for killing Indian? You joke, Mr. Earp.
No, I'm not joking. Murder is murder. I give you my word they'll be caught and hanged. You tell Dull Knife that. Ask him to wait for a message from me.
Wait how long?
I'll tell him one day.
Ho. Good. We talk with Dull Knife.
Thank you, my friends. I am ashamed that our white brothers do this, but they will hang for it.
You always tell truth, Mr. Earp.
Dull Knife, nupi, ho, suk.
We do not promise Dull Knife will listen, but we talk and say what you are saying.
Tahome.
Tehome.
Nehe.
Oh, it's not too bad. Pretty good. Test it.
Marshal Earp wants to see you.
What for?
Never mind. Come on, you're not under arrest.
No,
See you.
Look, Bat, I haven't got no gun. I
on,
didn't do anything. You know that.
Hold it. You fellas will have to come down to the jail. Let's go.
All right, take off your hats. Let me see your forearms. Knife cut, you can go. Roll up your sleeves. How'd you get those marks?
Well, horse shied from a rattlesnake. I went in some brush.
You can go. I'm holding you. Stand over there. Rest of you men, roll up your sleeves.
Who says so?
I said roll up your sleeves. You stand over there, too. Fingernail scratches. You stand over there. Bare your arms all the way. Two of you can go. Well, Mr. Jameson. Looks like a woman scratched you.
Yes, sir. My wife, she's
Last
always...
time it was a black guy, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Better luck next time.
Yes, sir.
All right, 2 of you murdered an Indian. His wife, she... You want to talk about it? What are their names?
Stevens, Miller, and Dort.
All this whoop to do about an Indian? We done it, we should get a reward.
Is that how you feel about it, Mr. Dort?
You're just picking on me because they kicked me out of the Army.
Oh, you were a soldier, too, huh? Well, how come you haven't got any cross sabers?
I don't like tattooing. Woman scratched me, sure. You prove it was an Indian. I wasn't nowhere near Buffalo Creek.
This time, Earp's really put his foot in it. Arresting men just because some Indian in the squaw got killed. Who's gonna back him on a stupid play like this?
Nobody.
Right now, General Custer's on his way to get Sitting Bull. Our own soldiers risking their lives while Earp goes over to the side of these red savages.
Trouble, Wyatt. Looks like they have friends.
Well, that's a big mystery. All right, you lock them up. I'll have a talk with their friends.
All right, let's go. Inside.
Earp, we've come for a showdown. We're at war with the Indians. Are you on their side?
No, Mr. Albright.
Well, then turn Miller, Dort, and Stevens loose. And do it right now.
I arrested those men on suspicion of murder. Not just murder alone.
Ah, she was only a squaw.
That's enough.
Oh, it is it?
Look, Mr. Albright, I had a run-in with you once before. All I did was slap your face when you hired Clay Allison to gun me. Then you forged my name when you tried to buy Jim Kelly's saloon, remember?
Now, you can't prove it.
But I can prove you're wearing a gun and leading the mob now. You men sure picked a fine leader. He's as yellow as they come.
You gonna take that, Pete?
He wouldn't draw on a 10-year-old kid with a pop gun.
All right, the rest of you drop him. Go on, drop him.
You pick him up inside later. Pick him up and take him to Doc McCarty's. Go on, move. Pick up the guns.
There were some men with hefty influence in that crowd.
And we'll let them use their pull. I don't want any men coming up to this jail with guns. Next time they try that, a lot of them are going to go home with buckshot in their legs.
You and I have scouted with Indians. We know them. But you can't expect a lot of scared greenhorns to understand what we're trying to do.
Why not? They can understand common ordinary justice, can't they?
Not for Indians, Wyatt.
Look, I don't care who it's for. The law says you can't murder them. I stand on that.
Everybody does when they're not too scared to think. With all this talk of Dull Knife raiding us and the Sioux on the warpath against Custer. Howdy, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Kenton.
Evening, Bat.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Circuit Attorney.
Wyatt, we came to ask...
Don't weaken now, George. We came to tell you that this nonsense has gone on long enough. It's time for plain talk.
I'm sorry, Wyatt, but public opinion is against you.
Not only that, but you don't have evidence enough for me to prosecute anyone for killing Indians. No corpus delicti, no witnesses. In fact, not even jurisdiction.
I'm working on that, Mr. Kenton.
Not in this town.
Even if you had a case, we couldn't get a jury. We all have to be practical, Wyatt.
You almost fractured Pete Albright's skull. He can sue the city.
Yeah, he deserved what he got. But that doesn't help matters. I'm asking you as your friend to turn those 3 men loose.
Then you and Mr. Kenton will have to make that an order.
Very well. As circuit attorney, order their release. At once.
All right, release the prisoners.
Yes, sir.
2 of those men are murderers and worse.
Now, Wyatt.
I obeyed the order because as city marshal, I have no other choice. But I'm also a United States deputy marshal. And the murder of an Indian happens to be a federal crime.
You show that evidence to a federal judge and see what happens.
That's just what I aim to do, Mr. Kenton. I gave my word that I'd try and break this case. When it's prosecuted, I'm not going to have a peewit like you standing in my way. Happy election returns, gentlemen.
You heard what he said. Why don't you fire him?
He's the best marshal Dodge City ever had. You know, if that boy could learn to think like a politician, he'd be governor someday.
Sure the 3 of them went in there?
Not 5 minutes ago. All of them toting guns.
Stand back. Gordon. Well, what happened?
I was pals with Miller and Stevens in the Army. So I kept my mouth shut. But I know they'd done it. They picked a fight with me and...
You must have gone out the side door. You don't have to go with me.
Quit wasting time. Come on.
Take him on over to the coroner's office.
We could not find Dull Knife.
Maybe he circled around.
We catch 2 men. Come look.
Were they riding out of Dodge?
Yes. 1 horse break leg and gopher hole. When they stop, we put guns on them. Come look.
We sure will, Mr. Cook. Well, Miller and Stevens. Good morning, gentlemen. You didn't kill Dort fast enough. He told us you murdered the Indian.
That's a lie.
Oh,
No. They must be tried according to law. Untie him.
I do not understand. They kill men who fights and shy of.
My friend, I promised you they would be punished according to law. There's a federal judge at the fort. We'll take them there.
You got no proof.
Mr. Masterson, give me your pad and pencil. We murdered man who fights and are responsible for the death of Shy Dove.
You think we're stupid enough to sign that?
Dullknife and his men can't be too far away. You want me to turn you over to them?
He's bluffing. He wouldn't do it.
Dullknife would skin him alive, piece by piece.
No, that's Apache stuff. The Cheyenne mutilate a bad man, and they roast him over a slow fire. How long does a man suffer?
Sun up, sundown. I see many bad Indians live longer.
You still don't want to sign it, huh?
No.
All right. You take him to Dullknife. Tell him for me these are the men he wants.
No, we'll sign. But you got to promise you'll take us to the fort.
I give my word. We'll tie him double on the good horse. I want you and Mr. Brother to come with us. You were scouts in the Army. It'll help us to have a witness to the confession.
Look, Wyatt. Cheyenne.
Don't move.
Dullknife and his men, all around us.
We could stand them off if there ain't too many.
No. Hold this.
You aim to surrender?
You promised that...
I want to talk to Dullknife. Does he speak English?
More better than me.
Good. Come along and introduce us. You keep an eye on them.
They won't move. They got no place to go.
Where did Dullknife learn English?
Mission school. He go as little boy.
Are you a convert?
No, all Cheyenne. Dehomé. I am cousin to many battles. This is Mr. Erb, Law Marshal of Dodge City.
Good morning. Good morning. I have the men who killed your people.
Man who fights, Shy Dove.
The law will punish these murderers.
White men's law will punish white men.
Yes. I will take them to the fort.
No. Give them to me.
Great Chief Dullknife, ruler of the Cheyenne. Mr. Brother, Mr. Cousin, can tell you that I have always kept my word to them. I will keep my word to you, O Great Chief. The men who committed this crime will be tried by a federal judge. And if found guilty, they will be hanged according to law.
I have traveled many miles to punish these men. I do not trust white men's court.
Some white men don't respect our laws either. In a few cases, it hasn't deserved respect. But there are hundreds of men trying to make our laws honest. It would be foolish for me to lie about it. We've had two kinds of law. One for white men and another for Indians. I'm asking you for a chance to prove that the murder of an Indian will be punished the same as the murder of a white man.
You expect me to believe this talk?
Yes, for your own good.
How is that?
You have asked our great white chief in Washington to let your people leave Oklahoma Territory and go back to Wyoming, true? What will our chief in Washington think when he hears that you have left your reservation for personal vengeance and taken the law into your own hands?
I will ask you a question. The two men who killed Shy Dove and her husband must die. Will you leave hostages to guarantee it? One of the two must be the other white policeman. You make cheap talk.
I will ask my friends. If they consent, they will place themselves in your hands. If they don't, we will fight it out.
Good. Johnny.
My guess is that Dull Knife's only got about 20 men. We stand a good chance of driving them off, especially if we can kill Dull Knife in the first attack. That's about it.
What's the sense in killing Dull Knife and maybe some of us getting it? Come on, Mr. Brother.
No, I go. He stay.
Masi copy. No need. Go.
Ate.
No, Mr. Brother. I need Mr. Cousin as a witness. You go. You must make Dull Knife understand that a couple of his men must bring the bodies of Shy Dove and man who fights to the fort.
Dull Knife understand. He's big judge.
But what am I going to say to Dull Knife if the white man judge turns them loose?
He won't. But I'm still willing to stay here and fight it out.
No, what would that prove? I risk getting killed in a gunfight with a no-account girl. This will prove something. Be seeing you, Marshal.
Don't I know you?
Oh, Judge Norton. Me, Little Wolf.
That's right. You helped us in a gun smuggling case. These are bodies of man who fights and his wife?
Me ho.
Things can't be going too well at the fort.
Masi copy.
Come here.
Uh-oh. Here I go again. Yes, sir?
Our dead were shown to the white men. They are being sent back to us for burial. Your judge and your friend Marshal Earp did nothing. The killers have not yet been hanged.
12 men. A jury have to decide. That takes a little time.
Too much time. We must move by dark tonight. We cannot take you and Mr. Brother with us.
There's nothing I can do.
No. It will be done for you. Honey.
You have been found guilty of murder in the first degree. You attempted to defend yourselves by saying the two young people you killed were Indians. Such a defense is an insult to this court and to the laws of this republic. Murder of any human being is punishable by death. Marshal Earp?
Yes, sir.
You will deliver these two men into the custody of the provost marshal. I'll send a written order for their immediate execution by hanging. Court's adjourned.
Come on.
I have conquered my evil temper. There has been too much killing by Indians and white men. My heart is sick. We are all children of Great White Spirit. We behave like grizzly bear and Apache. I have been thinking of your friend, Marshal Earp. I do not believe he lied to me. I think he has done his best for justice. I am sure there must be many white men with good hearts like his. Therefore, I am setting you free. Go. Silence!
Thank you.
You tie not to its gun. Tehume.
Great Chief, these are the bodies of the two men. They were hanged according to law.
Look. The copy.
Great Chief, we are taking them to Dodge for burial. Any objection?
No. It is justice. Stay home.
Stay home. You have understanding.
Well, little man, what do you say now?
Two men, hanged for the murder of man who fights in Cheyenne. Will it change anything?
Someday. Maybe 100 years from now.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told.
Well, I guess Miss McGill's aiming to gun Bat Masterson.
Don't be a fool. Why, she wouldn't have a chance in a gunfight with a man.
I wouldn't bet against her. Miss McGill's a shooting woman.
Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien.
Women of the frontier, when Wyatt Earp was Marshal of Dodge City in 1876, had long been accustomed to scenes of violence and gunplay. But aside from tough show-offs like Calamity Jane, Belle Starr, and Pearl Hart, women rarely carried a gun or used one, and then only in some act of desperation. The circumstances which turned Mrs. Jane McGill into a shooting woman were unusual, and she became one of the most serious problems Marshal Earp ever tried to handle.
Gate's locked. Let's cut the wire. Here,
I'll
take
take
this
this
axe.
Get away from that fence!
Now, take it easy, Ma. We got cattle on the drive, need water. You've locked the gate.
I promised feed and water for Mr. Hap Dorset. He'll be driving his own cattle in soon. I gave him my word.
First come, first serve.
You ain't cutting my fence. Now back off now.
Boy, you old
No,
bat.
no. Shooting a woman? Tobe will have Wyatt Earp throw her in jail.
All right, let's go.
Hush up, Boots. Come here, girl. Come on. Trouble's over for right now.
Mama, you shot at them.
Yeah, over their heads.
Oh, how could you? I promised Marshal Earp that the next time we had any trouble, we'd send for him. What if they tell Mr. Earp? I could have driven into town.
By then, they'd have busted down the fence. And speaking of promises, I gave Hap Dorset my word.
Oh, him.
You like the boy, don't you?
I've said it 50 times. I'm not marrying to live on a ranch. I've seen all the cows and cowhens I can take.
You think you'd rather have Bat Masterson?
No, we're just friends. Bat has lots of girls, town girls.
And a roving eye.
You seem to forget that I'm quite grown up. In fact, tomorrow I'll be 21.
21? Well, that's right, Effie. You'll be of legal and voting age if they let a woman vote. Well, it all kind of comes to a head, your birthday and Hap riding in.
Now, Mama, I haven't promised Hap anything. So happens that Bat's gonna take
Well, I better hitch up that rig and get into town before the stores close and the bank.
Bank? Our credit's run out at the stores and we haven't a dime in the bank.
Tomorrow's the day, honey. You'll be 21. And I made a promise on it.
Mr. Masterson, come on out here. I want to talk to you.
Now, what's up?
Mrs. McGill again. Took a couple of shots at some of Tobe Lawson's cowhands. They talked him out of filing a complaint.
Well, thanks.
I want you to ride out there and give her a good talking to, though. Part of her farm's on the city limits now, and she's got to quit shooting at people every time she has an argument.
Or couldn't you go out there this time, Wyatt? She doesn't think too much of...
I didn't pick Effie McGill for your girl. You just read this to her mother.
Yes, sir, but why don't...
Anyway, you got no reason to be wasting Effie's time. Or do you intend to marry her?
Marry her? Well, I haven't more than kissed her a couple times.
Well, that's enough to give a nice country girl ideas.
Gosh.
Well, Mrs. McGill's caused me a heap of trouble, but I kind of like her. She's over 50, and I'm just 30, but we're both old-timers in the West.
Huh?
Well, I guess that seems kind of odd to you, but you're not an old-timer unless you haul to California by wagon train. Didn't Effie tell you that she and her folks...
Wyatt, they want you down at the bank right away.
Hold up.
No. Something about Mrs. McGill.
Oh, well, Deputy Masterson can go.
Well, they asked for you, Wyatt. The cashier said that...
All right. You know, maybe you should get married.
This is unusual, madam. It's been 10 years since we've been asked to cash gold nuggets. You're not a depositor here, and you don't seem willing to explain how you came by the...
Well, I didn't steal them.
No one's accused you of that, Mrs. McGill. It's just that banks have to be careful. At $20 an ounce, you have almost $300 here in... Oh, Marshal Earp. Thank you for coming so promptly. We have a matter...
Howdy, Mrs. McGill.
Howdy, Marshal. He thinks I stole them.
Gold nuggets, Mr. Earp.
Well, Mrs. McGill and her family were 49ers. Didn't you tell Mr. Perkins that?
I don't like to talk about it.
Well, you're perfectly safe in cashing them, Mr. Perkins.
Well, if she'd only explained... One moment, and I'll have the cash for you, Mrs. McGill.
I'll be outside. I'd like to talk to you.
100, 200, and 300.
Thank you kindly. All that bother over a few piddling nuggets.
Well, it's going to start a lot of talk.
Ain't none of these town folks ever seen gold before?
Well, gold coins, but not any dust or nuggets. Oh, by the way, Tobe Lawson said that you took a couple of shots at some of his boys.
One shot. I aimed high. I told them I promised to save water and feed for Hap Dorset, but they started to tear down my fence.
Well, Mrs. McGill, I think that if you...
But didn't you tell me you hauled to California when you was 16?
Yes, I'm on a wagon train.
Yeah, well, us wagon trainers always took our own part.
Well, we had to then. You know, I can remember when my dad named me as the hunter, the whole party. I just about wore myself to a frazzle, stalking after all those buffalo and antelope. One day, I put on a big rebellion. Yes, sir. I told my old man they just have to eat wild turkey and prairie chicken and quail. Those people got so sick of eating it, they started calling me Cluck Cluck. And that shamed me back into hunting buffalo again.
Yeah, and if you'd have found one of those bullwhackers that trying to steal meat, wouldn't you have taken a shot at him?
Well, in those times, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, but you see, the law today says that people can't go around shooting other people just for trespassing unless you know for sure they aim to commit a felony. See, Mrs. McGill, times just aren't the same anymore. And I'm sure that Mr. Lawson would have been willing to pay for the food and the water and for the busted fence. Look, if anything like this happens again, you just have Effie come in to see me, huh?
All right. Depending there's time. But there ain't always been time, Mr. Earp. Long before you came to Dodge, I had to stand off hoodlums with a gun.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, well, Effie will be hitting her 21st birthday tomorrow, and I aim to see Hap Dorset driving in with his first herd of steers. Well, like I told Effie, it's all coming to a head, and my work's almost finished.
Is the mother's job ever finished?
Handling the gold will be.
The gold? You got more of it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, now, you better bring it in here and put it in that bank.
It's safe, Mr. Earp. But I do thank you kindly.
Oh, scandal travels without a wire, swift and hot as a prairie fire. Gossiping, gossiping, gossiping all over town. The busybody's tongue is mightier than the sword, swift and eager to spread the word. Gossiping, gossiping, gossiping all over town.
Maybe it's just a lot of talk, Si. Yeah. Maybe it ain't.
You better wait for the boss.
Why cut the whole outfit in on it? Just the old woman and her kid to handle. Ain't we men enough to do that?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, they're beautiful, just scrumptious, Mama. Did you, buy them on credit?
No.
But what with, then?
Never mind, they're paid for. Now, you try your dresses on. I gotta fix that fence.
Marshal Earp was here.
What do you want?
He thinks you've got some gold hidden on the place. And if that's true, he thinks you should put it in the bank.
I'm waiting for Hap Dorset.
Hap? What's he got to do with your money?
More than Wyatt Earp or Bat Masterson have.
Now, Mama, you wouldn't be so foolish as to try to bribe Hap into marrying me. I told you, I'm not going to marry a cattleman. We've had nothing all these years but 50 scraggy acres and this tumble-down old house. Smelly cowhands and bawling steers. And drunken hoodlums you had to threaten with a gun.
It's been hard for you. I know that.
And worse for you. Why did you hide the gold? Why didn't you sell this place and move us into town?
The gold has blood on it.
Oh, you mean that Papa and John...
Wasn't their fault. I was the one who wanted to travel west. And then when we'd made our pile and started back, I got a fence that needs mending.
Tell me the rest of it. I want to understand.
When the posse had saved you and me, and when I was well enough, I went back to that ambush. I couldn't even find the graves. The buffalo had stomped the earth flat, killed the grass and the prairie flowers. What do you buy with blood? Pretties like them things? A house in Dodge City on a 2x4 lot? Your Papa and John, they didn't like the mines. They wanted to homestead land in California. Gold, that was my doing. What have you been guarding all these years? The dirt, the water in the well, the pond, the trees, the sky? And a fool of an old woman. And a girl who won't learn from her mama's foolishness.
Howdy, Miss McGill.
Hap Dorset.
I'm a little late getting here.
Well, it's about time. Where are your cattle?
Oh, down the trail a piece. Well, how's it been going, Ma? And how's Effie?
We're all right, but the drought got you, didn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I'm only bringing in about 100 head.
Oh, well, that's better than I expected.
No, Ma.
Oh, some small outfits ain't driving at all this season. You can rest them here and put some weight back on them. I've been holding it for you, Hap.
Well, I knew you'd keep your part of the bargain. But me, well, I can't even pay until I sell the steers.
Hap, don't worry about the pay, but kind of keep the bad news from Effie, huh?
No use, Ma. She can count cattle.
Oh, you can brag you shipped from Wichita or that you sold most of them to a trail buyer, now can't you?
No, ma'am. I never did have any luck lying to women. She'd find me out as quick as you did.
Take a look yonder.
Your mother's got Wyatt awful worried this time. He didn't order me to come out here. He asked me as a personal favor. Wyatt doesn't ask personal favors just for nothing, Effie.
You tell Mr. Earp that it is true what we were talking about. But I can't do a thing with Mama.
You ain't gonna get any place with Effie eating humble pie. I tried that. Failures young girls nowadays don't tolerate 'em.
Well, I'm all kinds of a fool, and the drought starved me out, so what chance would I have asking her to marry me?
Don't that horse of yours want some water?
He sure does. Water, Patches. Water.
Sure is thirsty.
I better do a patch-up job for you there.
Nope. Hold me up that milk can. I'm gonna change my bank.
That ain't real gold.
Yes, sir.
Well, thunderation, Ma, you shouldn't keep it there.
Is that all that interests you?
You should put it in a Wells Fargo bank or someplace.
Pap, I want to lend you some of that right now.
Oh, no.
Look, you can buy some more cattle, build a ranch house. It would all belong to you and Effie. I don't want none of it.
Thanks, Ma. Thanks just the same.
Pap, I know it looks like I'm trying to buy you for Effie, but that ain't the main point.
Well, there sure must be another point. You know I'd marry F tomorrow, and I wouldn't charge you a nickel.
Look at Hap, listen. Wait a minute. Well, ain't you gonna say howdy to an old friend?
My goodness, it is you, Hap Dorset.
Yes'm.
The sun was in my eyes and I couldn't make you out. Why, you look plumb tuckered, Hap. Aren't we going to invite him to supper, Ma?
He's invited.
Well, thanks, but I can't stay.
Why not?
Well, my cattle, Effie, I left them resting up the trail.
But you have cowhands to look after them.
One cowhand. We'll be driving in about midnight if you'll just give me a key to the gate, Ma.
I've got an extra one here.
Thanks. Maybe you'll invite me to breakfast.
Why, of course.
You sure get prettier every time I see you. And, Ma, you changed banks again. Well, bye.
One cowhand. Must have made a big success.
He tried.
Poor Hap.
Don't say that about him. He's been fighting the drought and his range dried up, and there wasn't nothing he could do about it except keep his courage.
All right, Mother. All right. I promised Bat I'd meet him in town. Can I use the rig?
No.
Very well. I can walk.
Oh, forget what I said. You can use the rig. It's already hitched up.
Thanks, Ma.
Well, the girl's out of the way.
What are we going to do about the old lady?
Scaring and talking.
The dog, he might raise a rumpus.
No, he won't. Come on, let's get at it.
Hey, come here.
Boots.
You reckon she's still in the house?
I don't know. Seems kind of strange. Woman sees her own dog shot. Don't come running out or nothing.
Probably scared to death.
Maybe she ain't here. Let's look around.
The other one's in the parlor, dead. They killed my dog.
Here, let me do that.
You gonna arrest me?
Yep. Those men were Hogan and Lacey. They run with the Billings gang. I've got to keep you in protective custody.
For how long? Hap will be driving his cattle in at midnight.
Billings and his crowd will be here before that, maybe. They're bound to have heard what happened.
I've caused you enough trouble.
You sure have.
Well, why worry with protecting me? If the rest of the outlaws come, let them ransack the place and take what they can find.
That isn't the law, Mrs. McGill. You've been wrong, but the law still has to protect you.
It's in the milk can in the well.
That's your mama's business, not mine.
What?
I'm not thinking about her and her money.
Oh, or me either.
She wouldn't turn in that gold when Wyatt told her to. Then she up and shoots two of Bud Billings' hoodlums. When the rest of them come, we may have a big gunfight on our hands. And all because your dear mama never heard of banks to keep money in.
Well, I thought you'd be willing to make allowances.
Not when folks get Wyatt into a lot of needless trouble.
Wyatt, always Wyatt. So he comes first?
Well, that's my job.
And the important thing is that, well, even though you started for the gold first, you always had the land in your head.
Yeah.
You know, I guess us wagon trainers are all alike. I've always wanted to have a cattle spread of my own.
Wyatt, big cloud of dust on the road out of town. Looks like Billings is on his way.
All right. Mrs. McGill, you and Effie go in the house. Stay strictly out of this. Get those horses in the corral.
Those my men, Hogan and Lacey?
That's right.
Told me back in town some crazy woman bushwhacked them.
You heard wrong, Mr. Billings. They shot her dog and then broke into her house.
That don't sound likely, Earp.
Well, that's what happened. You climb down off that horse and I'll show you where Lacey died in the parlor. I'll show you where the dog's buried, too, if you like.
Why would they do it? Broken down old place like this.
Well, Mr. Billings, they thought there was a lot of gold buried here. Didn't they send you word?
No.
Well, I guess they decided to take it on their own. Well, I've told you the truth. I've said all I'm going to say.
I heard you called a lot of names, Earp. Liar ain't one of them. Reckon Hogan and Lacey got what they deserved.
We'll let the court decide that later.
See you.
Yeah.
I see now. That's the way the new law works. At least when Mr. Earp's around.
What?
Yeah?
Effie says that gold is in a milk can down the well.
You go haul this stuff up. I'll go ask Mrs. McGill if I can't take it on over to the bank.
Yes, sir.
Here. Mrs. McGill, I'd like your permission to take and put that gold in the bank. Mr. Masterson says he knows where it is.
All right. Might as well take these along.
Yeah, that's a good idea, too. Excuse me for a minute. Miss Effie, Mr. Masterson is one of my best friends, but I can't say that he's good material for a husband yet.
No, he isn't.
I talked kind of mean to your mother, asking you not to add anything to it. It's a tough job getting blood off gold, and what she did all these years, she did for you.
I know that now.
You know, as an old wagon trainer myself, I'd just like to say that Mrs. McGill could captain a wagon train for me anytime, anyplace.
Well, I guess it's North Texas, Mr. Earp.
Saddle up. Take those with you. You know, Effie and Hap are going to need you.
Effie, did she say... You sure?
North Texas, that's what she said. But they're never going to make it without you.
Oh, go on now.
No, I mean it. North Texas is big country. It's a lot more your size than this little farm. When the northern winds start screaming and your grandchildren, they come down with the croup. You be there, Mrs. McGill.
I thank you. I thank you kindly. Old timer.
West Country, he made law and order prevail, and none can deny it. The legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Battle of the Little Bighorn in June 1876 was the worst defeat ever suffered by the white man in his long fight with the Indian. The news of this disaster had repercussions in Dodge City and other frontier towns. Custer's bitter critics were a handful of civilians who worked for the Indian Bureau. The hoodlum element had an old score to settle with the Army, for it was the Army which tried to stop them from cheating their Indian wards.
Business as usual, Mr. Tom. Maybe this hick cowtown ain't even heard about the licking Custer took.
Newspapers have been making excuses. Now, you fellas circulate around. Let's get the truth told our way.
Yes, sir. Come on, you men. Let's start with this Long Branch saloon.
Gus, I'm sick and tired of hearing all this gossip about what happened to Custer in Montana. You men weren't there and you don't know what happened. Now, next time there's any rawhide of soldiers, I'm going to close every place below the line. You understand that? I'll pass the word.
Shall I take these brave warriors in for packing guns?
No. Because I think they're real anxious to go after Sitting Bull. Now, your name is Johnson. You're a cheap peddler. You work for an Indian agent by the name of Tom Elridge. Is he in town?
At the Dodge Hotel. And you better not be showing...
Elledge is a swindler and a thief. I don't want him spreading lies about brave men. You tell him I said so.
You're messing in something too big for a cowtown marshal. Mr. Tom make you pull in your horns.
What's behind all this?
Well, there are a lot of Indian agents that don't like the Army. Captain Benteen chased Elledge out of 2 jobs for swindling the Indians. Tried to get him fired.
So Elledge wants to get even with the captain, huh? How do you think he's going to do that?
Well, maybe Elledge will tell me. You take that on back to the office and ask the other deputies to start a patrol. Captain Benteen has been a good friend of ours.
Why don't we run Elledge out of town?
No, not yet. Johnson's too cocky. I'll go have a little session with Mr. Elledge.
And with the public sore at the Army over the Custer massacre, now's the time to hit hard. I've already got 6 survivors from Major Reno's command ready to testify. They're being held outside of town and under guard. There'll be 2 Indians, a Mr. Cousin and a Mr. Brother, coming into town.
What makes you think 2 Indians will come into town at a time like this?
Because I sent them a message, supposedly from their good friend Wyatt Earp. I watched the North Trace, and remember, I want them alive. We get double that when you bring them in. Who is it?
Marshal Earp.
Oh, just a moment. Oh, come in, Marshal.
Mr. Elledge?
That's right.
I just disarmed some of your men. They were picking a fight with a couple of soldiers. Now, maybe you can tell me why.
It's only natural, isn't it?
Why?
Sit down. We resent Custer's failure. It'll make the work of the Indian Bureau twice as hard. We warned the Army.
And the Army warned you. Captain Benteen told me before the 7th moved to Fort Lincoln that he was going to file criminal charges against you for what you did to the Indians.
He said that? By the time the Court of Inquiry gets through with Benteen, I don't think he'll be in any position to make trouble for me.
I get it now. You're short in this town, Mr. Elledge. Now you get a hold of your men and move out, you understand?
So, that's the way you help a friend in serious trouble.
Captain Benteen?
My men have picked up deserters from Major Reno's command, and they're ready to charge Benteen and Reno with disobeying orders, stupidity, cowardice. I can break your friend. Get him kicked out of the Army.
Well, I wouldn't want to see my friend get kicked out of the Army. I usually don't make deals, Mr. Elledge. You've probably heard that.
But in case somebody else holds the trump card, you might, eh?
What's your deal?
My men are looking for 2 Cheyenne, a Mr. Cousin and a Mr. Brother.
Yeah, I know them.
They weren't in the fight, but they know Two Moon and Brave Bear.
So?
It's important to have testimony from the Indian side. Now, we can pick up Cousin and Brother, but getting them to talk is something else again. Can you help us?
I might if it would help Captain Benteen.
He's small fry. We're after Sherman and Sheridan. We're going to prove to Congress that the Army mismanaged the whole campaign. Now, you help us do that, and it'll change things for Benteen.
All right. When you bring in Mr. Cousin and Mr. Brother, I'll talk to them. But your men should be real gentle.
Oh, I don't antagonize witnesses, Mr. Earp.
You be sure of that. Because for every mark on them, I'm going to put 2 marks on you.
I just sent the patrol, Wyatt. Did you talk to Elledge?
Yeah, just now. He thinks I'm on his side. That's the way we've got to play it. You go find Johnson. I want to talk to him.
Johnson?
That's right away. Don't let him see you. Just come tell me where he is. I'll be over in the office.
Thank you, sir. I'll win again.
Mr. Johnson, I'd like to have a little talk with you. Alone. I just had a nice little talk with your boss. You know, I was wrong about him. I don't like you. I think you know that. But as an officer of the law, I do an awful lot of business with people I don't like. I find that Mr. Elledge is on a special assignment. Just so happens I agree with his views. He told me about the soldiers, about the witnesses.
You mean the men
That's
from...
right. Major Reno's battalion. He told me that you knew where to find them, that I should ask you.
That means we're all working together?
That's right.
Good.
I'll send Mr. Masterson over. You can give him the information.
Marshal Earp, I'm Mrs. Benteen.
Well, howdy, man. Howdy, Captain. I used to know the captain.
He's angry because I made him come to see you. Where can we talk?
Take the side street to the back door of the jail. I'll join you there.
Get up. And everyone knows that Fred was the hero of that fight. He saved Major Reno from being wiped out. But just because he technically disobeyed an order, he wants to sulk in his tent and let them court-martial him. Do you think that's sensible on his part?
No, ma'am.
I did disobey the order. I've got to tell him so.
But you saved Reno. You couldn't have saved General Custer, even if you tried to join him.
The court will blame me.
Oh, but...
Excuse me, ma'am. I've read the papers, and they tell it that Custer attacked 5,000 Indians with only 600 men. Isn't that the main reason you got beaten, Captain?
Well, yes.
They were all too brave. But the public doesn't think about that. They want some officers to punish.
Reno and me.
Not you. The only one that's after you is that crook Tom Elledge. He's with the Indian Bureau. Fred caught him selling supplies that had been bought for the Cheyennes and tried to get him fired.
Now, really...
Wait. Let me tell Mr. Earp the rest of it. Elledge is supposed to be right here in Dodge City.
Yes, he is here. I'm glad you both came.
You see, I knew Mr. Earp could help us.
I don't see how.
Well, the captain's tired, ma'am. He isn't thinking straight. That was a real good fight you put up on Reno Hill, sir.
I should have let Reno save himself and gone down the valley to help Custer.
All right, sir. All right. Mrs. Benteen, I'll take you on over to the Kansas Hotel, but I think you ought to register under a different name. I'm going to ask the captain to stay here in my office for a few hours. Elledge is busy collecting eyewitnesses, and I'll be busy recollecting them. I consider it a personal favor if you'd stay here.
All right. Go ahead. You and the missus. I guess I saw too many Indians.
Rush him? No. Just try and knock him off the horse. Aim carefully. Don't kill him.
You're not going to turn them loose so they can ride in a Dodge, are you?
I need doctoring.
Well, they'll squawk to Elledge.
I can't help that. We'll get the soldiers before Elledge can take a hand. Now, get on your horses. Come on.
All right, now get out of here.
How come you started down this way, Mr. Cousin?
Indian Nation says you want to make talk with us.
Yeah, well, I do, but first we got to pick up some soldiers. Got any objection to helping the 7th Cavalry?
Yeah, hey, long night, 7th Cavalry.
No.
We help. They are brave men.
Good.
Better get started. We still got 10 miles to that camp.
Yeah. Go get the rest of the horses.
Boy, there's a campfire. We're getting pretty close.
All right, let's take them all on foot. Tie up the horses over there. Elledge said he was holding 6 soldiers. He can't have more than half a dozen guards out here. I'll go in from 4 sides. Take the guards, but don't shoot unless you have to. All right, let's go.
Hold it! Who are you?
Don't shoot him, Mr. Masterson! Drop those guns!
Go on. All right, tie him up. Take their sidearms. We'll pick up that man I wounded by the tree. Bring him in. All the other guards accounted for?
Yeah, we each got 1.
Good. They won't be standing guard over any other camp. All right, walk these men over there and sit them down.
Nay, nay.
I'm Wyatt Earp, United States Marshal.
That's so.
You Sergeant Malloy, D Troop, Major Reno's battalion?
I'm John Smith. He's Joe Smith. We're all named Smith.
You're a bunch of stragglers. You could be charged with desertion. But that's going to be up to Captain Benteen.
Captain Benteen of H Troop? He's dead.
No, he isn't.
You sure?
Yep.
Why, that bullet-eating old buzzard. Benteen made it. Last time we saw him, he was on the hill yelling orders at Major Reno.
Where were you men?
We wasn't running, mister. About 1,000 Sioux had us pinned down in the bushes by the river. Show him what they gave us to fight with.
Watch it.
It's not loaded. An old Springfield with a cartridge extractor is busted. You got a good Winchester. 500 of them, and it might have been different.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it might have been. But I haven't got time to refight the battle with you, Sergeant. I just want to know why you made a deal with a crook like Elledge.
And we knew it was the worst messed up battle any soldiers ever had to try and live through. So when Crazy Horse and about 5,000 Indians made their march past the hill, what was the use of staying? We were whipped to a frazzle.
So you retreated south, huh?
I'm tired of lying, mister. We run south. The fight was over, and none of us knew what to do about it.
And how did Elledge find you?
You won't believe this, but we just run onto him on the trail in Nebraska. He was out hunting for troopers like us.
So he offered you money and political influence so you wouldn't be charged with desertion, huh? And what were you supposed to do in return?
Well...
You better tell me, Sergeant.
Well, we were supposed to swear an oath, blaming it all on the officers.
Especially Captain Benteen?
Well, yes, sir.
And how do you feel about that now, Sergeant?
Like a skunk. Captain Benteen was the best officer on the field.
He's probably got the soldiers, too. Drunken fool Johnson. Have the rest of my traders come in yet?
About 20 of them, Mr. Tom.
Stay here. I'll round them up myself.
And Elledge is waiting for the Indian Bureau Commissioner. But I've got all the witnesses he was going to use against you. Well, technically, Sergeant Malloy and his men are deserters, but the truth is that Elledge was holding them against their will and was trying to bribe them into lying about you. Well, it's up to you now, Captain.
Well, Fred,
Yes, my dear?
all you have to do is take those men to Fort Dodge. They'll tell the truth. Well, don't you see?
Reno's men. I can imagine what they'll say.
Oh, Mr. Earp, you're his friend. A wonderful friend. Can't you?
Excuse me. Sergeant Malloy, come on in here, will you, please?
Sergeant Malloy, D Troop, sir. I'm glad to see you alive, Captain. If it hadn't been for you, the rest of the boys and me wouldn't have made it.
I disobeyed an order, Sergeant.
Well, who didn't, sir? With 5,000 Sioux and Cheyenne overrunning us? What was an order?
Mr. Cousin? Captain Benteen, this is my friend, Mr. Cousin. He talked to several chiefs after the fight. Mr. Cousin, did Two Moon or Brave Bear think there was any way of reinforcing General Custer?
No. The Sioux would have killed all soldiers crossing Valley. Gall and Rain and Face had General Custer surrounded.
He's right, Captain.
The white soldier, brave and proud. Indian proud also. But in war, no chief take blame for defeat. All Indian people take blame.
We're all to blame, Captain.
Yes, all of us. Cheap politicians scattering the army in dozens of little forts. Bad food, poor guns.
Now. Sergeant Malloy.
Yes, sir.
You and your men have reported to me at the earliest possible date.
Thank you very much, sir.
We will ride to Fort Dodge. I've already filed my report, but you and your men will be asked to make written statements. If you're required to mention me, I shall expect you to refer to me as a bad-tempered old buzzard. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Checking the arsenal, Wyatt?
You're forgetting Mr. Elledge. He can't afford to let Malloy get to the fort.
You think he'd try to stop us?
Well, one of my deputies says he left Dodge with a bunch of white traders, and you know what that means.
Not more fighting.
Well, this may be the last battle, man. You know, I think one of the main reasons we take such a licking is that we spend too much time fighting among ourselves.
Elledge and his men in there. I think they see you. Expect you to go after him.
Well, Captain, what do you think?
Well, I can't take soldiers into a fight with civilians. But if a fight starts, we can always ride to the rescue.
All right, we'll start it, and you can rescue us.
When the shooting starts, we'll come in from the right and the left.
Fine.
What about Benteen and the soldiers?
They'll all come in, Mr. Tom. And they'll all get what Custer got.
Can't hold out here. You sure the captain's men ain't gun shy?
I don't know.
Can we shoot?
No, wait.
Now?
Now.
Fire!
Winchesters.
That's what Ellie, ain't it?
Halt! Surrender! Drop your weapons! Bring him down here, men! Come on.
Sergeant Malloy.
Yes, sir.
Didn't I see you and Mike shooting at 2 horsemen on the ridge?
Yes, sir.
Where are they now?
They're casualties, sir. Ma'am, the name of Elledge and a pal of his.
Wounded?
Dead, sir.
Well, I wonder how the government will take the news. Well, bring in the bodies.
We'll take care of that, Captain. Mr. Masterson and I killed Elledge in line of duty.
I fired the fatal shot, sir.
Thank you. Prepare to mount. Tell Mrs. Benteen that we'll probably be put under arrest at the fort.
I don't think so, Captain. If anybody comes out of that court of inquiry with honor, you'll be the man.
You deserve a better friend, Wyatt. Troop forward! March!
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told.
As a member of the United States Army, Sergeant Craig will stand court-martial. I demand to be released in my custody as my prisoner.
He murdered a civilian within the city limits of Dodge. The law says it's my duty to hold him.
Well, then, Marshal, I'll take him by force.
Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien. Wyatt Earp rode into Dodge City one bright May morning in 1876 and was chief marshal by noon. 1 month later, General Custer rode in proud defiance to his death on the Little Bighorn. That same year saw the close of a long and bloody campaign that drove the Plains Indian from the Dakotas, from his last hunting ground and his way of life. Battle-weary troops were moved east and south to regroup and recover. Among them were men whose memories were scarred by too much cruelty and killing. For these men, violence became their way of life.
Private Crenshaw? Sergeant Craig, sir. Yeah. I wanted tobacco. Give me some tobacco. Darned if I ain't fresh out myself. Aha. General store and emporium. Follow me, Private Crenshaw, and we will go a fortitude. Fly the merry-o, a fortune we will go.
Today we have a sale on blankets, but you perhaps know more about these than I do. Oh, I'll be with you in a minute, gentlemen.
I'm Sergeant Craig, mister. Old engine fighter from way back. Only time you ever find Sergeant Craig waiting on an Indian is when he's got a rifle in his hands. Now, give me some chewing tobacco.
All I have is Union Twist.
So, what's the difference? It's chewing tobacco, ain't it? Hey, Private Crenshaw?
If Union Twist is good enough for the Union, it's good enough for a couple Union soldiers. Right, Sarge?
Sure. Hooray! Well, pay the man, Private Crenshaw.
Sergeant, I ain't a chawing man.
Pay her!
Yes. All present and paid for Sergeant Craig, sir.
Right.
Come on, Sergeant.
Directly. Here's me. He's a pretty good-looking squaw. For a squaw, pretty enough always to kiss, ain't she?
Please, Sergeant, let's not have any trouble.
No.
Come on, Sergeant. We got guard duty.
Leave us alone, soldier. We don't make trouble. That's right, Ensign. You don't make no trouble at all.
No. Come on, Sergeant. Let it go.
All right, a couple of you help the doc take him over to the coroner's office.
You know, it's times like this, Marshal, that makes me think maybe I should have stayed in Cincinnati.
Well, the important thing, Mr. Whittle, is will you make positive identification?
I certainly will, sir.
Good. Will you come down to the office and sign a statement?
Well, be glad to. It's high time something was done about that, Sergeant. He's done nothing ever since he's been here but give us one scare after another. I don't know why you haven't arrested him before this.
He's a soldier, Mr. Whittle. He and his company have spent better than 6 months in the Black Hills, fighting the greatest alliance of Indians in frontier history.
I know. I should think he'd have his fill of fighting.
Most of them have. Most of them are no trouble at all. Some are like Sergeant Craig. Well, something happens to them. They get crazy like. Oh, they've seen things that a man like you couldn't even dream of. It's kind of hard to explain.
It seems to me that you're trying to make excuses for a murderer, Marshal.
Not for a murderer, Mr. Whittle. But maybe I'm trying to make excuses for a professional soldier.
Coroner's making out the death certificate.
How's this squaw?
I sent for his relatives. She'll stay with him till they fetch him.
You're on duty tonight, aren't you?
Yeah.
Good. I want to ride out to the fort and pick up the sergeant.
On what charges?
Murder. What else?
What? You think we have a case? You know the accused is a soldier. I never heard of a soldier being charged with killing an Indian.
We got an eyewitness, Mr. Whittle, that says it was a plain case of murder. Anyway, it's not up to me to try the accused, but it is up to me to bring him in.
I don't know, Marshal. I hope that I'm doing the right thing.
I'm sure you are, Lieutenant. Civil law takes precedence in a civil crime. You have no problem.
You don't know Captain Brooke. I'm afraid he'll hold a different view.
Why should he? The law's the law, isn't it?
But, Marshal, this is an Indian. Indians aren't citizens. And the law isn't too clear on this point. And a man like Captain Brooke, well,
Look, Lieutenant, if you have any worries, forget it. I'll take full responsibility.
Come in.
You sent for me, sir?
Sergeant Craig, this is Marshal Earp of Dodge City. He has a warrant for your arrest, claims you killed an Indian.
Self-defense, Marshal. The redskin pulled a knife.
According to the owner of the store where it happened, the Indian was trying to get away when you shot him in the back.
Well, I've got a witness myself. Private Crenshaw was with me, Lieutenant. He'll have a different story.
You'll get a chance to tell it, Sergeant. You'll get a fair trial.
I'm to go on trial for gunning an Indian? What the U.S. government pays me to do?
There's a difference, soldier. This Indian happened to be a Cherokee, third generation civilized.
Cherokee, Comanche, Sioux, what's the difference? They're all the same.
I don't intend to try your case, Sergeant. Just put you under arrest. I'll give the lieutenant your handgun and let's go.
Give me the revolver, Craig.
Are you going to let him get away with this, Lieutenant?
I have no authority to prevent it. Now give me that revolver.
All right, sir. When the captain comes back, you better have a different story.
It'll be on the morning report.
I wouldn't wait that long if I was you, sir. It's going to be bad enough you let a civilian run it over one of his boys.
That'll be enough from you, Craig. Now get out of here.
Thank you, sir.
Who's in charge here?
I am, sir.
You Wyatt Earp?
Yes, Captain?
I've come for Sergeant Craig. I'll ask you to be so kind as to release him into my custody.
You Captain Brooke?
That's right.
Well, didn't Lieutenant Meade explain to you about him?
Lieutenant Meade is fresh from the parade grounds of Washington, sir. He's got a great deal to learn about military practice on the frontier.
Such as?
Such as the Army's right to discipline its own men.
Well, Captain, if the sergeant had killed another soldier out in the territory someplace, you'd have claim to him, but he didn't. No, he killed a civilian right here in this town. That places him right in the hands of the local law.
Come, Mr. Earp, you can't be serious. Since when is it a crime to kill an Indian? In self-defense.
Well, I don't intend to debate the case with you, Captain. He's my prisoner by order of civil law. I'm going to keep him. Good day, sir.
For a minute, I thought he was going to bust. I bet we haven't seen the last of him yet.
You've got a real safe bet there, mister. Time he gets back, he'll have a full head of steam, and then you'll really see him bust.
Hey, I don't see Whittle's statement here. Hasn't he brought it in yet?
No, not yet. When I stopped around this morning, he said he hadn't had time to get to it. He wants to get it right.
Meade! Lieutenant Meade!
Begging your pardon, sir, Lieutenant Meade is not here. He left this morning.
Where's he gone?
You didn't say, sir.
There was another soldier with Sergeant Craig last evening when he had that altercation with the Indian. Who was he?
I believe it was Private Crenshaw, sir.
Tell him I want to see him.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to be afraid of me, Crenshaw. Long as my men are loyal to me, I'm loyal to them. You understand, Trooper?
Yes, sir.
You ever hear the phrase esprit de corps?
Yes, sir.
Know what it means?
Well, I think so, sir.
It's what this company has, Crenshaw. We've fought together, been beaten together, and we've won together. Now, that means something, doesn't it, son?
Yes, sir.
Have a drink.
No, thanks, sir.
Have a drink.
Yes, sir. I think I will.
Now then, Crenshaw. You say that this Indian pulled a knife and attacked the sergeant.
No, sir, he didn't pull the knife.
Don't hedge, soldier. It's my understanding that this Indian had a knife.
That he did, sir.
Well, then, am I correct in assuming that he was reaching for this knife when the sergeant, in order to protect himself, grappled?
Well, I guess... I mean, I'm sure that's the way it happened, sir. You see, I wasn't exactly watching at the time.
Now then, How many people were in the store at the time?
Besides the sergeant and me, I guess just the Indian and his squaw.
And the proprietor, of course.
Yes, sir.
Well, the squaw wouldn't count much in court. You wouldn't count much either, being an army man and somewhat prejudiced. So that bull-headed marshal has only one man on which to rest his case, hasn't he? That storekeeper.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. May I help you?
You may, sir. You most definitely may. It concerns the altercation which took place here yesterday between one of my men and an Indian.
Yes.
Other than Private Crenshaw here, I understand you are the only witness, discounting the squaw, of course.
That's quite true, Captain. As a matter of fact, I was just writing out a statement for the marshal. He asked me to set things down just as they happened.
I'm afraid the marshal is leading you down the garden path, Mr. Whittle, when he asks you to take a stand against the brave fighting men of your country. Particularly when these fighting men are engaged in mortal combat with a savage enemy. With those self-same Indians, sir, whom you so obviously wish to give aid and comfort to. I dare say, sir, you have no concept of the enormity of this incident.
Mr. Whittle bring in the statement yet?
No.
Sergeant's on trial docket for 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I know. Harris is prosecuting. He's going to stop by here later this afternoon for depositions.
Well, then Whittle better not wait to bring in that statement. He better come here in person. I better go tell him.
I've been giving this quite a bit of thought since last evening, Marshal, and to be perfectly honest, I can't rightly say that it was entirely the sergeant's fault.
Look, the last time I talked to you, Mr. Whittle, you were yelling for that sergeant's blood. Now, who changed your mind?
Well, I was angry. Now I've had a chance to think things over and cool off. I just can't honestly...
Was Captain Brooke in here to see you?
All right, so he was here.
Did he threaten you?
Of course not. The captain happens to be a gentleman.
I'm not asking for a character reference to Captain Brooke. I'm just asking for a little character from you.
Now, I'm a tax-paying citizen, Marshal, and I'll ask you to watch your tone of voice.
Forget it. When this case blows up in court tomorrow, mister, I just hope you turn out to be a better judge of character than I've been.
Take position to guard this office.
No one passes.
I'm Marshal Earp.
Sorry, sir.
I don't care what your orders are, Deputy. I'm giving you just 3 seconds. Oh, good evening, Marshal. I've come for my prisoner.
Did you come to take him by force, Captain?
If necessary, yes.
Well, then I think you'd better first put the whole town under martial law.
You don't happen to have a legal leg to stand on.
Yeah, I know. I just saw Mr. Whittle.
Then be sensible. Give me the prisoner.
No.
Look here, Earp. You couldn't even get the sergeant convicted on manslaughter without a witness, and you know it.
My job is to take him to trial, and to trial he goes. Now, you get out of here. Hold it, Hal.
Crenshaw, get in here. Keep these two covered. You, Deputy, get in there and open that cell up. Let the prisoner out.
Go ahead, Al. Give him all the rope he wants.
Outside, Sergeant. Hurry.
Just let me get my gun, Captain, sir.
Hurry, Sergeant. Use my horse. Sergeant, Sergeant, our soup!
Take that gun and get out of here. You're wrecking my store.
Sit up back there.
Fire, you idiots! Don't just stand there. Shoot him down. Fire, I said. Shoot him, you cowards! Shoot him!
I've done my best to avoid bloodshed. But if that's what you want, let's have it now.
I ordered you to fire! I order you to shoot this man. I'll make you wish you were never born. I got him, Sergeant! I got him! Marshal! Hey, Marshal, come on! I got him! Come in, Marshal, hurry up!
Kick that gun over here.
Hey, Marshal, if you'll give me one more chance to reconsider, I'll be glad to testify against this ruffian.
Thank you, Mr. Whittle.
I'll remember you for this, mister.
You sure will, Sergeant. You sure will.
Come on, move out.
Whatever happened to you, Captain?
Take the prisoner inside.
You can put up that gun, Mr. Earp. There'll be no more trouble. The Colonel's apologies and mine. Captain hasn't been himself for some time now, so I took the liberty of sending for aid last week. The colonel arrived as soon as he could. Mr. Earp, Colonel Grayson.
Marshal?
How do you do, sir?
Stay with Captain Brooke, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
I don't ask you to understand, Mr. Earp, but I want you to know the Army will pay for all damages and make any necessary restitution.
Thank you, sir. And what about the prisoner?
The sergeant falls entirely under civil jurisdiction, of course. Lieutenant Meade explained everything to me. I only wish I could explain Captain Brooke's case to you as easily. All I can say is he's been in the Indian fights too long and he's not himself. He'll be sent east and his case reviewed.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, sir, the incident never happened.
Well, thank you, sir.
Troop, hurry him out. Mount! Forward flank pilot 2, yeah!
What a day. You think it was worth it?
Hal, any time the sun sets on law and order, it's worth it.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told. Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The friendship between Wyatt Earp and Ben Thompson, outlaw, killer, and one of the fastest hands with a .45 in the western country, was a great trial to Marshal Earp. He had won Ben's gratitude by saving his drunkard brother Bill from the gallows. In return, Ben had saved Wyatt from being bushwhacked in Wichita. Now, as Marshal of Dodge City, Wyatt would have been more than satisfied to call matters even.
All right, get your bets down, men. Here comes the next guy. Jimmy? Harry? Charlie?
Hold it, Ben.
What's wrong?
We want to see that deal box.
You calling me a cheat?
Yeah. You're a cheat.
on, we gotta help Buck. He looks pretty bad. We better get him into Dodge.
Ben! Ben!
You sure Thompson's dead?
You killed him, you dirty tramp!
Oh, that's a fine thing. Get myself all busted up so I can't use a gun.
Shh. They might come back. You're gonna have to hole up in your room.
No, we'll make a run for it.
You can't. You can hide upstairs.
All right, if it's gotta be.
Dooley! Dooley, give me a hand here.
Quiet. You still friends with Ben Thompson?
What'd he do now?
He just plugged Buck Sandage, foreman of the Circle Bar. Sandage was dead before they could get him to town.
Well, when you start gunning with Ben, that's what you can expect.
According to talk around the saloon, Sandage got it in the back.
Ben wouldn't do that. Where's Ben now?
I don't know. Some say he's dead, some say he's only wounded.
Where'd all this happen?
Out at the old Three Forks Tavern, out in the county. Ben had set up a faro game there.
Well, tell me inside.
Well, the Circle Bar boys sent for their boss, Riggs Miller. They say if Ben Thompson's not dead already, they're going to hang him.
Well, if he's still alive, I should let him hang. He never does anything according to law. Well, Sandage shoot him up?
Not by himself, no, sir. They say there was about a half a dozen Circle Bar boys in on it.
It sounds like Ben. He never did think about the odds in a gunfight. Blasting away against a half a dozen guns. You know, he's fast, but he's not that fast. Well, there's nothing I can do to help him. He can't expect me to...
Wyatt, how about me taking a couple of deputies and riding out there?
Why?
Look, Wyatt. I don't know Ben Thompson, but I do know Riggs Miller and the Circle Bar boys. They're nothing but a bunch of murdering hoodlums. See, they've never ridden into Dodge since you've been marshal. But ask anybody about them. Now, if I'd ever been friends with Ben Thompson, the first thing that I would...
All right. All right. I'm still friends with Ben. Lord's punishing me for my sins, I reckon.
Well, we all of us got a cross to bear of some kind of another.
I'll go. If Ben's still alive, he'll be expecting his dear old pal. But don't you mention this to anybody, you understand?
Don't you want me to come along?
No. I can't mess in this officially. I've got to think up some kind of a trick to get out there so the Circle Bar won't know who I am.
Well, howdy. I'm Dr. Murdoch. You got a Mr. Ben Thompson here?
You'll find him upstairs, Doc. My name's Miller, Riggs Miller, owner of the Circle Bar.
Ah, Mr. Miller, I'm glad to know you. Here, give
Sure,
me a hand.
I'll help you.
Thank you. Yeah, Doc McCarty said there'd been quite a gunfight.
Thompson killed my foreman.
Oh. Yeah, well, there must have been a lot of lead flying around, huh?
He shot Buck Sandage in the back. We want to know if Thompson's well enough to hang.
I'll tell you later.
Howdy.
Hold it. Who are you?
I'm Dr. Murdoch. Come to see Mr. Thompson.
You from Dodge City?
Yep.
The only doctor I know from there is Doc McCarty.
Well, I'm his new helper. Now, you want me to see Mr. Thompson or not?
I suppose you'll do. Go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, no, not you.
Howdy, Ben.
Wyatt, this is the most darn beautiful thing. I told Marcia you wouldn't risk it, but you
Nothing
did.
like that at all.
What do you mean?
Come here to put you under arrest.
What kind of a pal are you? What are you arresting me for?
Well, Riggs Miller told me that you shot one of his foremen in the back.
Now, you know me better than that, Wyatt. He was shot by one of his own stupid friends. That bunt line is really something.
Will you just lay back, take it easy? Doc McCarty gave me some medicine to douse you with here. Try and get you to his office as soon as possible.
How many Circle Bar men are waiting downstairs?
About a half a dozen.
Well, I don't want you to make no fight for me. You just get me to a horse and let me make a run for it, all right?
Nope, you're my prisoner.
Can't you quit thinking like a John Law for 2 minutes? I could end up in jail. Then what? I'd have to stand trial, maybe get the rope or something.
Will you hold your hand still?
I had to know. How is he, Doctor?
Doctor?
He isn't a doctor?
No, Angel. This is my pal, Wyatt Earp. Wyatt, Miss Marcia Duval.
Howdy.
Are you really Ben's best friend?
Oh, his best enemy.
What a mind for fun. He don't waste words like I do, Angel. He puts them all in a nutshell.
Best enemy? What's that?
Let me explain it to her, Wyatt. My dear friend here is going to take me down there through those Circle Bar men, then to Dodge City to stand trial for murder.
You call him a dear friend? Well, he's not a friend. If you were a true friend, you'd kill those men outside and turn Ben loose.
Now, honey, you just keep...
Please, both of you, look. Ben's got no other choice. If he doesn't come with me, well, the Circle Bar's going to lynch him. If he does go with me, I promise him a fair trial in Dodge. Now, you get in that buggy of mine and follow us to Dodge.
I'm with you, pal.
But, Ben, you
now,
can't...
Now, honey, you just keep still and listen to Wyatt. Go ahead, Wyatt.
Here, sit down. Now, I think I can stall Riggs Miller for a few minutes by telling him that you're about to die. Where are your horses?
Out back. They were. I'll see. They're still there, but a Circle Bar cowhand is watching them.
Miller's men have got their horses in the stable, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm talking to Miller. I want you to go out and set fire to the stable. Can you do that?
Of course.
I told you he had brains. I'll sneak down the back stairs. And when all the excitement starts, I'll make a break for the horses, right?
No. You hide in the doorway until I get a chance to go around there and cover you.
He thinks of everything.
Look, Ben, there may be a hitch. Miller may get suspicious and not talk too long. So when you come out and head for the stable, you kind of cry a little bit, see, and just sort of wonder that way. If you hear any shooting, you know something went wrong. You get yourself on your horse the best way you can and pull him towards Texas.
Wait a minute. How do you know I ain't going to do that anyway?
Well, you agreed to go back to Dodge. You never have lied to me yet.
He always was a mind reader.
But if you've got to go on trial in Dodge City...
Shut up. Go start the fire.
Well, Doc, how is he?
Not good. Not good at all, Mr. Miller. Oh, he's in a coma. He's got blood poison. Maybe last an hour, maybe less.
You sure?
Mr. Miller, I'm just giving you my professional opinion. We don't have any drugs out here to treat blood poisoning. In Mr. Thompson's case, we had... Well, I guess it happened.
Kind of sudden, wasn't it?
Mr. Miller, you can't hold a stopwatch on death. Guess you better go up there and sign that certificate.
Mind if I go along?
No. Just a second, Mr. Miller. I've decided that this is none of your business.
What?
Yeah, you're not a relative, Mr. Thompson. As a matter of fact, you're not even a close friend. You can't go up there. I said you couldn't go up there.
Why?
Boss went up to have a look at Ben Thompson. Let's go up and have a look ourselves, huh?
Okay.
Help! The stable's on fire! Help! The stable's on fire!
All right, boys, get the horses out of there. Come on, get the horses out, boys. Hey, you men in the bunkhouse, some water on there. Ah, come on, get the horses out.
Ben.
Some water on that fire. All right, boys, come on, hurry up. Get those horses out there.
stopping here for? We don't have too much of a lead.
You need a rest. Come on.
Just give me a drink. I'll be all right. It's right here in my
I'll give
pocket.
it to you on the ground. Come on.
Swing your leg over. Now watch. Watch it.
Here.
Come on.
How do you feel?
Pretty sore. Wyatt, they're going to be along here any minute now. Those people down in Dodge will probably turn in a hanging verdict anyway, so why don't you just go ahead on and save them the trouble?
Because I don't like Riggs Miller. Anyway, those Cheyennes don't know how far this whole bunt line can shoot. I'll try and pick a couple of them off their horses. I think it's a buffalo gun shooting at them. Well, here they come.
I got a rifle. Take for cover.
Go ahead. Cripple the rest of them.
There's no point in it, Ben. You've had enough.
You got local. We got 3 men hit.
Getting back on their horses?
Yeah, but I'll make you bet they turn around.
How much you want to bet?
Quart of ice cold milk?
Done, you reckless, plunging gambler, you. One quart of ice cold milk, I always say. You know, you're pretty good with that overgrown colt.
It's no colt. It's a stallion. I'll never stop thanking Mr. Buntline for having it made for me. You make it to Dodge?
I'll be there when they hang me. Come on. Well, I'll be doggone. Angel, you got wings.
Get your hands up, Mr. Earp. This is as far as Ben goes with you.
Now, honey, we don't point guns at our friends, so give Mr. Earp the gun.
It's not what he says, it's what the jury will say.
Are you going to give him that gun?
It's foolish to trust a jury. Ben, I'm begging you. You know better than...
Marcia, give me that gun.
Give the man the gun.
What will you do if they convict him?
Miss Marcia, I promised Ben he'd get justice. Here, you ride in the buggy with her.
You know, if I could use my hands, Angel, I'd give you a good spanking. He's already saved me from the circle bar rope, and if I got to hang in Dodge, we'll be square. I owe him a hanging. Come on.
I'm afraid you've put Mr. Hunt in a difficult position as circuit attorney, Wyatt. He thinks Thompson's sure to be convicted.
Why?
The circle bar outfit has 10 witnesses ready to swear Thompson shot their foreman in the back. Now, who's going to testify for Thompson?
Well, I can't betray a confidence. Anyway, I don't think Mr. Hunt would want to take unfair advantage.
No, but I still think Thompson ought to plead guilty. I'll be as moderate as the evidence allows.
Thank you, Judge. But Ben says he's innocent.
Very well. One last point. I hope you don't get involved, Wyatt. I know you feel indebted to Thompson, but there's a limit. Oh. Good night, Wyatt.
Good night, sir.
That'll be all, Mr. Thompson.
Your Honor, the defendant has told his story of what happened. Since he is not represented by counsel, the court should be reminded that the defendant is entitled to offer witnesses in support of his character and reputation for the truth. Mr. Thompson, do you wish to offer witnesses to your character?
Well, my
Marshal Earp said he'd put in a word for me.
Marshal Earp. Marshal? The defendant wishes you to testify as a character witness.
All right, Mr. Hunt.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Take the stand. Marshal Earp, how long have you known the defendant?
Well, about 4 years, sir.
And what would you say is his general reputation for telling the truth?
Well, I'd say it was good, sir.
On what do you base your opinion?
Well, Mr. Thompson's never lied to me or anybody else, as far as I know.
You say he tells the truth. What is your opinion of his character in general?
It's bad, sir.
The court asked that you explain more specifically to the jurors.
Well, sir, Mr. Thompson is a gambler, and sometimes he cheats.
Isn't he a notorious gunman?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thompson has killed several men in gunfights?
Yes, he has.
And what would you say of his reputation for morals?
You mean with women?
Yes.
Well, his reputation is bad.
A crooked gambler, a killer, a man with no moral scruples in his treatment of women, and yet you say that his story here of the killing of Buck Sandage can be the truth?
Yes, sir. Mr. Thompson doesn't have to shoot anybody in the back. He's as fast with a gun as I am.
And is he as truthful as you are, Marshal?
Well, I think so, yes, sir.
Isn't his truthfulness inconsistent with the rest of his character?
No, sir. You see, Mr. Thompson's done a lot of bad things, but, well, he has a great respect for the truth, and he's always been loyal to a friend.
Are you a friend of his, Marshal?
No, sir. Well, Mr. Thompson thinks of me as a friend, but I can't honestly say that I am. He's usually on the other side of the law.
Then you're not qualified to testify as to his loyalty.
Yes, sir, I am.
Now, how's that?
Well, sir, when I was bringing Mr. Thompson into Dodge, why, Miss Marcia there, she got the drop on me with the gun, and, well, Mr. Thompson could have escaped, but he didn't. No, sir. Instead, he had Miss Marcia hand the gun over to me.
Out of loyalty to you.
Well, we made a deal.
A deal?
Yes, sir. I told Mr. Thompson that if he and Miss Marcia would cooperate with me, I'd try and save him from being lynched by the Circle Bar outfit.
Just what does the word cooperate mean in this so-called deal?
He agreed to come to Dodge with me and stand trial.
And in refusing to run away, he kept his word?
Yes, sir. He sure did.
Mr. Hunt, your witness.
State has no questions, Your Honor.
You may step down, Marshal Earp.
In fact, the state will waive closing argument and ask the court to instruct the jury.
Very well. Gentlemen, the issue in this case is quite simple. Did the defendant, Mr. Thompson, tell the truth? Now, if you believe that he did, it's your duty.
Here's how I see it. Marshal Earp told the whole truth, good and bad, about Thompson. The telling point to me was that Ben is faster than a snake's tongue with a .45. You don't have to shoot no men in the back. And come to think of it, I never heard of Ben lying to anybody, did you? So my vote is for acquittal. All in favor? Aye. We'll go tell the judge. Ben ain't guilty.
Jury sets me free, and right away you gotta run me out of town. I don't want any trouble. I can understand that, Wyatt. But is this any way to treat your pal, not even letting him have his guns? What are people gonna think?
I don't care what they think. You're a bad character and you never caused me anything but trouble.
Quit calling me pal. Stop bragging about us being friends.
Now, I know you don't mean that. I love you like a brother.
Oh, look, Ben.
What is it?
Briggs Miller and one of his hoodlums. That doorway yonder.
Give me a gun.
You can't shoot. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. Just put it in my right hand here.
All right. If they jump us, we take Miller. I don't want to be tempted.
You better quit this shooting to cripple, Wyatt. One of these days it's going to be fatal. To you. Where do you hit, pal?
On the leg.
Here, take my arm.
Never mind, it's just a nick.
Wyatt, you're hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. Come you men, help me get him over to the doc's office.
Look, leave me alone. I'm all right. I can do it myself.
There, you see, you can't be too careful. Marcia, you and me are going to have to stay with Wyatt. Nurse him night and day.
Yes, Ben.
What did I ever do to deserve this?
Look, will you leave me alone? I can do it myself. I can get there all right.
You run on ahead. Get the doc ready. A couple of you men get this street cleaned up here.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told.
I hear you got a private grudge against Wyatt Earp.
I sure have, Mr. Morris. Rousted my kinfolks, Manning Clements and his brother.
Why don't you go to Dodge and kill him? Used to be a sharpshooter, didn't you, with the Tennessee Brigade?
Yeah, old Betsy can get him at over 400 yards, but bushwhacking a Johnny Law, I don't know. Starts a posse chasing you. And
$1,500.
What's that you say?
500 now and another 1,000 when you get Earp.
1,500. A lot of money. I'll give it a try.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien. When George Morris raided Dodge City and was temporarily crippled in a gunfight with Marshal Earp and Deputy Bat Masterson, it was generally believed that George would make no more trouble. But in his lust for vengeance, Morris hired a sharpshooter with a buffalo gun to kill Wyatt from a distant ambush. Wyatt's enemies had often hired gunfighters to pick a quarrel with him and face-to-face kill the marshal in a showdown with .45s. But Morris's scheme was new and deadly. It presented Wyatt with an assassin hiding beyond six-gun range, an unknown stranger skilled at stalking buffalo and men.
You, Mrs. Hamble?
That's me. Who are you?
My name's Roof Hawes. Got a note here, Summers, from your brother.
You're dirty. You smell like a buffalo hunter.
Shut up and mind your manners. You'll have to excuse Annie Mae. She took after Paul. Never hear from George Morris until he wants a favor.
Uncle George, what to say? What to say?
Hush! Dump them clothes in the tub over there.
Yes, sir.
There's no room in the house. It wouldn't be proper nohow. I reckon you can batch in the barn.
Suits me. One thing, though, it can't get around that I'm here.
I ain't one to gossip, mister.
How about the kid?
Annie Mae? Annie Mae, come here.
Yes, sir?
This here's Mr. Hawes. He's a friend of your Uncle George.
He sure needs washing.
Never mind that. He's going to stay in the barn for a few days, and you're not to tell a living soul he's here, understand?
Oh. Is he on the dodge?
No, I ain't. You want to get cut?
No, sir, let go of me!
You tell anybody I'm here, and that's what'll happen to you.
I won't tell, mister.
No need of scaring the wits out of the child. She's got few enough as it is.
What I said goes for both of you. I aim to be friendly, and I'll pay good rent. But you better be scared to stay scared. I don't want to see nobody nosing around. Is that straight?
Suits me. He ain't joking. He would cut you.
Yes, sir.
You just make out like I wasn't here. We'll get along fine. Where I go and what I do ain't no concern of yours, right?
How much? Why, that's a whole month's washing almost.
So keep it a secret.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is it?
The clerk. I thought I heard a shot and some glass breaking.
You did. Somebody took a shot at me. Go get Mr. Masterson.
Yes, sir, right away. Mighty big hole. Oh, I should have stayed in Chicago.
Hurry it up, will you?
Yes, sir.
This must have come from a rifle.
No, it's from a buffalo gun. Caliber .45-70. Might even be a 50 caliber. I think he fired from the roof of McGuire's warehouse. We'll go around the corner. You keep about 10 feet in back of me and watch for a muzzle flash.
Oh, you set yourself up as a target? Well, that's darn foolishness.
You working for me?
Yes, sir.
Come on.
You hurt?
No. Stay low.
There are the footprints, but no empty shells.
He must be a buffalo hunter. They always reload their own cartridges. He took his shell cases with him. You know, I can't figure this. I was a buffalo hunter. I got along well enough with all the other hunters.
Somebody hired him to bushwhack you.
Yeah, must be.
Think he's given up?
That all depends on how bad he wants me.
Well, this is the worst yet. The skunk that throws lead at you from 300 or 400 yards.
And he didn't miss my much either. It's a good thing I was moving or he'd have got me. It's an awful good shot.
What are we going to do now?
Well, the buffalo hunter is used to shooting at a standing target, so I reckon I better keep moving fast. In the meantime...
You need a bodyguard, Wyatt.
In the meantime, you round up the rest of the deputies. Tour the town. Find out if any strangers came in.
I'm staying with you.
No. Any sharpshooter that can put a bullet through the crown of my hat from a block away isn't going to be bothered with any bodyguard. You can pick me off in a crowd of 20 men.
Wyatt, for gosh sake, why don't you hold up for a couple of days? Give us a chance to find him.
Because I can't. I can't leave town, and I can't hold up. But I tell you what I will do. I'll be real quick and nimble like. I'll get going.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Matheson. Yoo-hoo. Marshal Earp ain't at the hotel, and I look for you every place. This is yours, Mr. Earps. I'll put roses on yours, see?
Thanks, Anna Mae. How much?
Ma says $1.50, but you pay the 50, and I'll charge Marshal Earp the $1. He's rich.
You know, you're growing up with a lot of wrong ideas, kid. But I got no time for a Sunday school lesson. Here.
$2? I ain't got change.
Well, you keep the $50. Delivery charge.
I don't want nothing extra. I just want, well, to be your best girl.
All right. You're my best girl.
Honest? Am I?
Cross my heart.
Any luck?
Nah. You went through that south side like lightning. My best girl brought the laundry.
Yeah, well, you stick to Annie Mae.
I don't know. I think I ought to teach that girl some moral training. And did you check all the hotels?
Yeah? None of their guests have ever been buffalo hunters. Well, a man couldn't walk down Front Street toting a buffalo gun without being noticed. I think he's an old-timer. Maybe a Johnny Reb who learned his snipe shooting in the war.
Well, what do we do next? Over there.
Picnic grounds. Go get the boys.
Charlie, Mac.
You hit?
No, but he got Tony. Fine horse, and I'm gonna miss him.
Well, just don't stand there. Let's get him.
Wyatt, use your head. We're not going to let you walk into that ambush.
Plain suicide, Wyatt.
This isn't the way to do it, and you know it. We'll ring out all this side of town, house by house. But we'll do it, not you.
All right, we'll try it your way.
Been hunting?
Yeah. Thought I'd get me a rabbit.
Annie Mae says different. Somebody tried to kill Marshal Earp.
What's that got to do with me?
You can't stay here.
Has that kid been talking? Where's she at?
She's out delivering more washing. And don't get mean about this.
I told you both not
Don't forget George Morris is my brother.
And a fine, loving sister you are. Earp crippled both of George's legs, and Earp ain't nothing but a Yankee, nohow. You sticking up for him?
I'm sticking up for myself and Annie Mae. This is a little town, Mr. Hawes. Someone's gonna recollect that I'm kin to George. And it won't take 'em long to come snooping around out here.
What if they do?
I don't want no bullets flying around. Ain't you got sense enough to know it's time to clear out?
Not yet. I gave you 20. How about 40 more?
No. You could put me in jail for harboring a man like you. Now pack up and push along.
You don't know who you're getting sassy with.
Just wait till I tell George.
George knows all about things. Now, this'll be over by sundown. If I don't take care of my job, it'll cost me $1,000. And you know who I'll blame for it.
All right.
Better be.
But I still get the $40.
Sure.
Quiet. Mayor Hoover.
Howdy, Mr. Hoover. I was just getting the search area narrowed down to the picnic grounds and the houses in the district.
Good. But you're relieved from duty.
What do you mean I'm relieved?
We're trying to save your life. You were shot at 4 times and your horse was killed. Now I want Mr. Masterson and the other deputies to make that search.
Whoever he is doesn't get paid for killing us, Wyatt.
Well, there's no need to relieve me from duty. I already promised Mr. Masterson and the boys that they could handle it.
You promise not to go after this man?
Well, Mr. Mayor, I think I'll eventually have to go after him. But if there's another way, I'm willing to give it a try. You have my word.
It's about the best we can do, Mr. Mayor. Wyatt, a lot of Southsiders want to help. We'll have enough men to surround this whole area. We'll get him.
I sure hope you do, Mr. Masterson. Good luck.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Masterson! Yoo-hoo!
This is the layout
Where's
right here.
Marshal up?
He's busy. You run along now, Anna Mae.
Ain't he going with you to catch the man?
Please, Anna Mae, don't bother me now.
I got a secret.
Later, not now.
Vamoose, young lady.
You'll be sorry.
Trot along home.
Now, we'll string out along this line here. The other deputies and I'll take each house and barn in the following order. We'll start right here. Miss Hamble?
Hello, Ben. Annie Mae with you?
No, ma'am. She was hanging around the jail. I thought she started home.
She's usually tagging after you.
She's all right. We're looking for the man that's been shooting at Marshal Earp with a buffalo gun. Seen any strangers around?
No, I ain't. You boys are welcome to look.
Shall I look through the barn?
Waste of time, Hal. I know Mrs. Hamble. You see a man skulking around, just holler.
I sure will, Ben.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, Anna Mae, did Mr. Masterson give you the money for the laundry?
Yes, sir, he paid me. I'm scared he'll get hurt.
Well, now, Mr. Masterson...
But it's all his fault. I offered him a secret. And he wouldn't even listen. Run home, little girl. That's what he said.
What kind of a secret?
So if he gets hurt or killed, it won't be my fault.
Why don't you offer me the secret?
I'm not your best girl.
Well, you're one of my best girls, Anna Mae. Anyway, you don't want anything to happen to Mr. Masterson, do you?
No, sir. There's a man living in our barn, a mean, dirty old man. He said he'd cut me if I told.
Well, I wouldn't let that happen to you, Anna Mae. You come on over here and tell me all about it,
Well, I will.
Good. Sit down.
$4. And you got to promise Mr. Masterson won't get hurt, and my mom won't get hurt, and you won't tell I told on Mr. Hawes.
It's a deal.
Well, no sign of anything, Bat. I think he left town.
It sure looks like it. We better report into White. If he wants more searching, we still have the daylight to do it. Come on.
Now, do you remember what you're going to tell Mr. Hawes?
Yes, sir. I'm to rush in all out of breath and say, I just seen Marshal Earp going to the picnic grounds.
All by himself.
All by himself. Thanks for the $1. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, hey, what's the hurry?
Huh. You would listen. Marshal Earp listened to my secret.
Come on now, what secret?
I gotta go home and tell Mr. Hawes.
Yeah? Tell him what?
Quit your mussing my hair.
Come on now, you tell me who Mr. Hawes is and what you're going to tell him.
Well, he's the man that's been shooting him, you know? So I gotta tell him Marshal Earp's going into the picnic grounds to look for him. All by himself.
All by himself, huh?
I gotta go. Am I still your best girl?
You bet your life you are. My best sweetheart.
Annie, come on here.
Yes, right here. You better look out, Mr. Hawes. I just seen Marshal Earp go into the picnic grounds.
How many was with him?
All by himself. Mr. Masterson and the others went back to town.
Did Earp have a rifle with him?
Yes, sir, and his 2 big pistols.
Annie Mae, what are you telling?
None of your business, so long as it's the truth. I sure am out of practice.
Wyatt, he's down. I think I got him.
Stay out of this, Pat!
He's in the gully now. He hasn't got a gun. Let's rush him.
No. He's got houses behind him now.
There he goes.
Wait a minute. You head right for the Hamble place. We can beat him there. Come on.
But the shooting's died down, and they must have caught Mr. Hawes. Why do we have to leave?
We've been harboring a criminal, and your Uncle George is going to have to fix things. Now, you wait here until I close up the barn.
Real smart, ain't you? Getting me trapped by Earp and another fellow dressed just like him.
Don't you cut me! Mom!
Don't kill me. I'm bleeding to death.
You'll be all right. Get some towels and some water.
Shouldn't we take him over to Doc McCoy?
No.
Why? Did you sword me?
Sure, I'm sword you. Look at my hat and coat you're wearing. Next time you horn into one of my gunfights, you wear your own clothes.
Yes, sir.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told.
আপনি কিন্তু দেখতে যথেষ্ট সুন্দরী একজন মানুষ, দেখতে বেশ রোমান্টিক, যেন শেক্সপিয়ারের নাটকের কোনো নায়িকার মতো। ভেবেছিলাম, কিন্তু আপনি তো পুরোটাই মর্মান্তিক। যে কোনো মানুষ আপনাকে দেখে মর্মাহত হতে পারে।
আমার হালকা হতে 1 মাস সময় লেগেছে।
আপনার 1 মাস সময় লাগে? আমার হালকা হতে তো 1 মিনিট লাগে।
আমার কাছে মনে হয় জীবনসঙ্গী এমন হওয়া উচিত যার সাথে আপনি প্রতিটা মুহূর্ত উপভোগ করতে পারবেন, সারাক্ষণ খুনসুটিতে মেতে থাকতে পারবেন, এবং তার মনে এমনভাবে বসবাস করবেন যে আপনার দিকে সে একটাবার তাকালেই বলে দিতে পারবে যে তার বেঁচে থাকার কারণই আপনি।
পথে চলতে চলতে, কথা বলতে বলতে, কখন যেন হলে আমার
জানি গল্পে গল্পে মিশে অল্পে অল্পে আমিও হয়ে গেছি তোমার।
ছোট ছোট ভুল ফুটে হলো ফুল যে তোমাকে পেলাম।
গুটি গুটি পায়ে স্বপ্নের নাই আমি ভেসে গেলাম।
আপনি কি মনে করেছেন একজন মানুষ আমার জীবন থেকে চলে গিয়েছে এবং আপনি সেই সুযোগটা কাজে লাগিয়ে আপনার ফিলিংসগুলো আমার কাছে এক্সপ্রেস করবেন আর আমি সেটা হ্যাপিলি অ্যাকসেপ্ট করে নিব। এই হচ্ছে আপনার বন্ধুত্বের নমুনা।
রোদের পাখি তোর শহরে আমার মনের স্বপ্ন ঘিরে, ওরে পাখি ওরে সারাক্ষণ তোর শহরে বৃষ্টি হলে ভিজে আমার মন।
Và VS biết New York. Được mà nó cũng chuẩn chỉ chứ. Cái khổng lồ ấy. Chỉ lấy một cái đéo này nhét lên cái khổng lồ vậy thì sao? Vinh chỉ lên công nhật trước lần nữa. Hello guys. Tao nhìn chắc sẽ chinh choang chưa? Mấy thằng Trung Quốc cũng ra này. Mày có thằng điên xin ở Pripyat, mày có thích Pripyat không? Có thằng con lợn 34 tỷ nhỉ? Bay đến 80 triệu. Mời đồng yes bay. Ghê. Rồi nguyên nhà, đéo giờ đánh nguyên nhà vào. Không, trên một con chỉ đấy. Như hồi đét thì mấy con này ở dưới mình sẽ quay một cười nó chịu mới tắc kè này nhìn như con nhái bên chia lên cầm đúng vậy nghe ngồi nghe ai đánh bộ khởi đầu đúng không vậy? Cộng một tướng à? Không, ai đánh bộ khởi đầu cũng thầy à? Thôi thầy xin phép vậy. Còn tiền 3 sao tiếp 3 thì check bài á, không có thằng đánh á. Này có oan thì sao? Không phải đánh thần rừng à? Chữ à đâu? Hiệu này đánh hình sút rồi. Bình chi lên bay rồi 35 của 35 của 35.000 hai lap này kia chắc bay như ác quỷ 800 năng lượng vì bớt 16 mà triệu quay kia qua này. 16 triệu rồi à? Và từ từ thế tiếp về kia một lap một để vớt này. Và 230 của phù thủy à.
ভালোবাসা সুন্দর, ভালোবাসাও সুন্দর। মানুষ নিজের অজান্তেই ভালোবেসে ফেলে।
আমার মনে হয় কি জানেন, আপনার মতো জানাশোনা কাউকে না আমার বিয়ে করা উচিত।
এটা কি উপলক্ষে?
ম্যাডাম ফুলটা গ্রহণ করুন, তারপরে বলতেছি।
ভোটার আইডি কার্ডে যার স্বাক্ষরের জায়গায় টিপসই দেয় এখানে কেউ ডাক্তার।
এই দুইজনের মধ্যে যে আগে ম্যাডামের মন জয় করতে পারবে ম্যাডাম তার।
একদিন না দেখলে তোমায় বন্ধু আন্ধার লাগে সব, তোমারে প্রেমে এমনই টান।
রোগীদের তো ডক্টরের কাছে আসলে ব্যথা কমে যায়, আপনি তো উল্টো বলবেন। আপনি কি উল্টা?
তোমায় ছাড়িয়া যাব মরিয়া, তোমায় ছাড়িয়া যাব মরিয়া, যেও না বন্ধু আমার ভুলিয়া।
না আমার সমস্যা কপালে। ম্যাডাম আমার কপালে নেই, আমার কপালে আছে দাগ।
Quà sinh nhật là cái quý nhở? Mua được mà mình thu hàng này mà may sang này vậy. Ok, đấy, lại về đây đã tự di chuyển, đã thể di chuyển, đã thể chỉnh hai bên lên xong. Bình không phải, Bình không phải, Bình không thấy ơi, Bình không thấy ơi, Bình không thấy ơi, Bình không thấy ơi, Bình, ai á, chôn tao. M là nó 50m. Nhanh lên tao. Từ từ rồi. Mắc thêm 7 Ghét. Chuẩn không nhỉ? Bay sự nhất đấy. Đấy là biệt. Vậy gì hay à, mảnh rất nhiều mảnh nha, rất nhiều mảnh này. Cung luôn mà thôi, xin cái mảnh lấy đồ chỗ ăn vậy. Thêm cái giáp máu nữa, khiếp, mấy cái mảnh cũng hết sạch mà. Anh lấy mảnh còn lại. Mày cho nhau, mày cho không? Mày cho anh không? Đừng chết nữa. Thằng Vũ vẫn đang nằm mà Dương. Chết. Đài. Mày không bay nhanh mà như kia, bây giờ có quỷ quá. Nhiều đi quát à? Ai à? 200 lap không? 200 lap. 200 lap. 95 à? 195 lap à? Tính nhà 100 lap đây. Wow. À đúng rồi. Nhầm. Yes.
তোমাকে 15 লাখ টাকাই দিতে হবে। তুমি যদি দিতে না পারো তোমার বাবাকে কল দাও। তোমার যত জমি জিরাত বাড়িতে যা যা আছে এগুলো বেচা হইলেও তোমরা আমাদের টাকা পাই করে শোধ করবা।
একটা ব্যাপার কি খেয়াল করছো? শহরে কিন্তু দুইটা রূপ, রাতের এক রূপ, দিনের আর এক।
বেঁধেছি ঘর হৃদয়ের পর, গাঢ় সবুজ ওই গহীন বনে।
আরে ব্রো, সবসময় চিল থাকতে হবে, কিচ্ছু মাথায় নেওয়া যাবে না।
ভালোবাসা হচ্ছে একজন আরেকজনের উপর ভরসা করে, একজন আরেকজনের হাতের উপর হাত রেখে এই জীবনটা কাটিয়ে দেয়। কিছু মানুষ এই রাত জেগে থাকে আর টাকার বিনিময়ে সুখ খোঁজে। বসুন।
এখন তো সিরিয়াস হওয়া উচিত, তাই না? আমি তো কোথাও যাচ্ছি না পার্টি করতে। তুমি কেন যাচ্ছ? কেন বন্ধ করতে পারতেছো না বলো তো? কার যে কোথায় সুখ সেটা তার প্রিয় মানুষটাও কখনো জানতে পারে না।
পাশাপাশি তবু যাচ্ছি বিপরীতে, কাছাকাছি তবু যাচ্ছি বহু দূরে।
হাই, ইউ লুক গুড।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
Được. Khổng lồ, mua khổng lồ cái gì đấy? Mở doan. Cảnh vệ. Thần dương, 2 thần dương vật trời nhiều. 2 khổng lồ. À không. Cảnh vệ sư nha rồi xong. Nhà tranh bài của tớ làm ơn đấy. Đâu đấy? Này phải đấy nhở? Cứ chơi chứ. 14 lap nhanh nhẹn. Bớt 4 rồi à, 1.2 à. Dương ơi, đây chuyển chỗ tội. Thú tượng với cả giáp máu ánh sáng, cái nào ánh sáng ngon hơn? Đây mà. Bình gì 200 lap đi, không thật này. À 51 này, 200 lap được đấy. Được 200 lap. À đúng là nhớ được rồi. Chạm tay à. 19. Nhớ là được 190 mà. 200 lap của thầy ơi. Bớt đem đủ 80 củ bớt lần nữa ăn đét vậy rồi tao bớt lần nữa xong rồi tao mới cút về bên kia bớt lên 5 xong rồi mình cút về bên kia được bình chia lên nhà đã chia ra bình rồi xong lên 9 nhà chia xong rồi lên 9 xong rồi lên 9 thì nhận được xét và là bình full form rồi form này có nhắc là cái gì đâu what chứ sao không nhận được hắc ám kìa nhận được tử thần hắc ám chỉ có June thôi anh sẽ bay một chỗ ác quỷ nhá mèo 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 wow không vậy ăn quay xóa được à đầu ấy nhỉ 53 củ thêm mấy lap nữa nhiều request lại 200
দরকার পড়লে একটা রিকশাওয়ালাকে বিয়ে করবো তারপরে তোকে বিয়ে করতে
তুমি যদি মরো যাও আমি তোমাকেই বিয়ে করব
দেখো দেখো বিয়ে এত সোজা
আমার 5টা কন্ডিশন
কয়টা
5টা
আমি জেডি সাফায়েত রমরাজন
স্যার এটা তো ভোটার আইডি কার্ড স্যার
গাড়িতেই করবেন নাকি হোটেলে
না না আপনি যেমনটা ভাবছেন বিষয়টা তা না আসলে আপনি তো করবেন
তোমাকে দিয়ে হবে না আমি জানতাম শুধু শুধু সময় নষ্ট করো না
ভাই আপনি তো অনন্ত দলিল না যে অসম্ভবকে সম্ভব করে আপনার কাজ জিমি
কি হচ্ছে
আচ্ছা
আঙ্গের একদম বইরা দিমু যাচ্ছে সব বাইট কর
শর্ত দিয়ে বিয়ে শর্ত দিয়ে বিয়ে
ভাই যে বয়সে মানুষ গার্লফ্রেন্ডের কামড় খায় সে বয়সে আপনি কুত্তার কামড় খেয়ে হাসপাতালে ভর্তি হয়েছেন।
Chọn gom bro 50k game. Cần thêm mấy, cần cần nhiều game không? Đấy, anh xếp chuẩn mà. Anh biết, chắc anh đoán gặp thằng này rồi. Thế rồi sao lên xếp con bạt điện. Bạt cứng đấy. Bạt sự cứng ấy. Nhưng mà góc mua la quăng à, phải đi rồi. Đấy chưa biết gặp thằng nào luôn. Giờ 4 thằng biết là gặp thằng nào luôn. Rồi xong. Là có 4 thằng thôi. Dấu gì lên? Dấu ăn đi không lên 2 à? Chưa có mỗi kiếm làm chí? Chưa. Trường 15 vậy block lùi. Thôi thua. Top 3 không? 4 không? Thằng này thua luôn rồi. What the hell, tao thua này. Top 3, top 4 à? 4. Nguyên nhà. Cứ phải phải đét. Rồi đi. I'm sorry. Ai trừ. Ngay ở kia trừ thế còn 9 máu. Cho thế. Căng thế. Cháu bé bị lag à? Chuẩn bố. Rồi thầy rebirth đây. Bye bye broccoli. Rebirth là nữa nó cho gì không? Danh hiệu không? Anh cầm cái danh hiệu mới đấy. Vẫn là ace. Mấy thằng này là beginner. Mấy cả first block. Việt Nam mày sao đánh đêm với broccoli? Xin lỗi. Chuẩn. Từ vào check xem là bao nhiêu phút rồi. Từ xem nó bảo ngày bao nhiêu thì của hát. Chờ đấy ha. Trước ngày 10 tháng 7 nhanh về broccoli cùng tao. Vào cái đéo vậy. Đến to nhỉ. 12 à, là 62 tiếng. À, đâu đúng 50 tiếng chứ, mình ăn đây đúng 50 tiếng. Phải không? Đấy nhá. Đúng rồi, 50 tiếng. Đấy. 24 với cộng 12 là 50. 48 với cộng 12 là 60. Nhầm. 60 tiếng là ngày 6 đúng không? 60 tiếng ngày 6 này. 6 tháng 7 này. Đây, 7 tháng 7 này. 60 cộng 3, 63. 63, 67, 68. 68 với cả bao nhiêu đây? 8 với cả qua là 69 rưỡi này. 69 rưỡi với cả 70 rưỡi. 70 rưỡi với 2 tiếng là 72 rưỡi. 72 rưỡi với cả 74 rưỡi. 74 rưỡi với cả đây À không, 7 rưỡi cả bây giờ. 74 rưỡi à? 74 rưỡi là còn 26 tiếng à? Có thua. Anh không đi. Quay xuống cho đầu một. Hôm nay mùng 10 broccoli chỉ buồn đấy. Chơi show đông. Tầm mùng 10 sắp có xong không vậy? 2 ngày à? Ngày chơi hát à? 1, 2, 3. 13 đi. What the hell? Ơ? Gì à? Ơ? Rồi. Có nhau đầy đi mà tao rét này đúng gì có nhau thế thì nào ta thì làm lâu quá broccoli 900k. I'm sorry. Mở mới làm lâu thực sự là farm không kiếm gỗ. Trăm k không kiếm xịn này được xong kiếm xịn 700k ở đây được. Ok sự anh đi bớt liên tục ấy mà hết tiền vô rồi mày thích đi bớt liên tục bóng. Rồi. Gì của broccoli. Sơn bố à? Pha sự kinh khủng ấy. Phải cần. Yes. Yes. Trèo thương mại. Chúng mình các bà mẹ kêu mình du trên mạng à? What the hell? Cho tao viết đi này. Thần tài à? Đừng cô nhà đéo nào. Quỷ phết nhà đéo ấn đánh thần tài sự quỷ ấy. Nhưng nghiện nó khác. Đéo xem. Mắt phải khi mình trong túi. Có cái đồ đéo gì cơ thì kiếm mà ngu thế. Logic khai rất nhiều quyền trợ nhé. Cút ngay lập tức. Đẩy đâu Chuẩn không? Chuẩn không? Block luôn, chuẩn không? Block luôn. Là Annie này. Đây. Trốn nhỉ? Đưa ra em đi. Phải đâu kìa kìa. Và chán quá. Đây là con nuôi. Chỉ vậy. Dòng tiền bảo tàng, bảo quản. Chỉ là cái này có gì. Yeah. 65M. Nói rồi. Này mấy M kiếm ấy. Yes, block away. I'm back. Bro. Lùm bánh. Rồi được cái lùm bánh. Rồi nhiều xu ấy. Tham rồi đó sự nhiều xu ấy. Binh. We also broccoli. Để tục về. Yes. Ủa. Vậy. Để trực tiếp. Chán mấy gì. Yes. Kiếm sinh nhất chị phải không? À không, kiếm nhất khác. Cái cũng cầm 100 củ ấy. Nhớ là 100 củ rồi bạn. Rồi. Ta thread đấy mà. Thread 3 không gọi. Cái này có trang bị ạ. Số gì?